Good evening to the Absolute Awesome Show, Episode 9, the Tom Giachero edition, except not. Tonight we have Scott Hatch, and he's going to be with us the whole show. We're not even going to BS at the beginning. We're just going to make him dive right in, and I'm not going to tell you that it's because this program sucks, but it's because this program sucks.
Hey! This is our gateway into the world, man.
I don't think anyone from Google is watching the show. I think we're safe. We can make fun of their products.
I don't think it's Google. I think it's your Windows computers that you got there.
Hey, Kelly, be quiet or I'll kick you out of here again.
Yeah.
I accidentally kicked Josh before we started the show, so he has to be Kelly this evening. That's the way it goes. So, Josh and Cliff.
That's all the explanation we get.
You should kick me out so I can be Christy.
I will. I'll do it. Don't tempt me. My finger right on the button. So we were talking and kicking around the idea of doing another one of the top 5 lists. We didn't get around to doing that this week. So.
Well, we did, but I didn't put any thought into it. And Josh, did you put any thought into it?
Well, yeah, but my thoughts were there's so many bands that I hate, and it would just like what are the boundaries here? Are we doing 90s, 80s, like current bands, pop punk, emo, just the emo bands? I mean,
it might have been more effective. It might have been more effective if we were going to have to do a worst anything. It might have been more effective to say 5 worst genres, just in general. And it could be subgenres, little minor genres, and that might have been it. Then we're not, saying this band or that band or this band specifically. We're just saying, unless we talk about Piebald, we can always say how they're one of the worst ever. But besides them, we can just do genres like emo. Emo would have been there.
Yeah,
ska
but we got
would have been there. Ska would have been there for both you and I. Emo and ska, we would have agreed on that.
No, I like ska.
Really? Since when?
And also, Scott Hatch is on the program, and
He is.
He's definitely affiliated with certain emo bands. So
I love the emo.
yeah, I mean, you can't. That's a bad idea, Cliff. Bad idea.
The right kind of emo, though.
Somerset.
You remember?
That was a good emo band. There's no other category.
I was gonna ask Kelly, what's the right kind of emo for you?
Oh, shut up.
Is it
I
Weezer?
think that's like an oxymoron or something, right? The
Well,
right
if
kind of
Kelly,
emo.
since I am using Kelly's Gmail, which she doesn't even know she has a Gmail. That was just one of those things, Sometimes you have to make an extra email account every now and then, so I made one, to get free stuff or whatever. But yeah, so she would say Dashboard Confessional and is Third Eye Blind emo? She would say them, maybe.
That's just crap.
I don't think that's emo.
Yeah.
No, probably not.
That's just crappy like pop radio rock that is 90s.
My favorite
90s sound.
My favorite emo band of all time was Radio Years.
That wasn't emo, dude. That was a wonderfully good pop rock band.
I think Kelly was jealous that we never had him play guitar for us.
Yep, I think that's exactly what it was.
And I will stop calling you Kelly about after 15 minutes. I'll revert back to Josh.
I think we should call him Kelly the whole time. Because, that way he'll miss her when she's gone. She's going out of town for like a week and a half, and he's going to miss her really bad. So calling him Kelly the whole day, the whole show, will kind of cement that in his heart, make him feel it, make him feel good every time we call him by his wife's name. It'll be great.
I don't think that makes any sense at all, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
It's actually not going on. I thought it was like a week and a half. I planned like a week and a half worth of parties, and she's actually leaving on Saturday and coming back Thursday, so it's really not even a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
you better
You have a
make
lot
some
of you have a
calls.
lot of
And,
parties to cancel.
yeah, exactly.
Right. Can we get to our guest? Or
Yeah, why not? Why
We'll
not?
have to wait 15 minutes before. What's the rules, Mike?
No rules. We can jump right in.
Sure.
We're good. So Scott, how's it been, man? It's been a long time since we've really when did we play the Philly show?
That was like 2009. I was doing
Yeah.
some research, so I wouldn't sound stupid today.
Well, good.
Was
You
that
know more
long
than
ago? That was 6 years ago?
Yeah,
Holy moly.
it's crazy, right? It doesn't
That
seem
was
that
like
long
before
ago.
the birth of my son.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do any of you use the Time Hop app?
No,
No?
I don't.
Scott?
I
think
never
so.
heard of it.
Mm.
Okay. Well, a lot of people use it. I'm not like, it's not just me, Kelly, who uses the Time Hop app. It's actually a pretty cool app because it somehow goes through all your private stuff on your phone, and every day you get it. You can just look at it, and it says, you know, yesterday, 7 years ago yesterday, I joined Facebook. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought it was longer than that, but only 7 years ago. But like a couple weeks ago, a whole bunch of pictures came up, and it was 6 years ago. You played in at the show in Philly.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Like, and there was like a billion pictures from that because we like tagged in them and stuff. So anyone that tagged us, it goes through Facebook, and if you were tagged in it, then it shows up. So it's a cool deal, you know. This episode is brought to you by Time Hop, by the way.
Yeah, giving them a lot of plugs here, for sure. Is it free, or do you have to pay for it?
Free app.
Totally.
So Scott, you're still doing Burnt Toast, and now Burnt Toast vinyl is actually vinyl. It's like a whole new thing.
It's true, yeah. Like probably it switched at some point, maybe 10 years ago, and became mostly vinyl. So, you know, after the CD started to die off, a lot more vinyl.
You know what? I have an idea for you.
What's that?
I have an idea for you.
Yeah, say it.
There's still a huge call for High School Rock on vinyl.
So, you know, I would...
You could make that again.
You know,
you have the rights to it.
I don't, though.
Oh, there was only the rights to make that many, and then that was it?
Yeah, it was like a one-time deal. I believe. I mean, I have to go dig the contract up.
But I bet you could do it and then just say it was one of those, it was leftover stock.
Don't. I've thought of that before. With High School Rock and with some of the Starflyer vinyl.
Yeah, because it could even be like the High School Rock remaster, but this is really just leftover stock. Totally could
exactly. I just found it in the garage, and so we
Exactly.
just made, you know, new artwork to go with it.
No, same artwork, everything.
Well, except the thing about High School Rock, though, on the back is the original Burnt Toast vinyl logo that my sister drew, and she did a great job, but it's a little hand drawn. So
I remember.
It got a little bit of a facelift a little bit later on.
So you could make High School Rock remaster on vinyl with the new logo, and they probably wouldn't notice, is what I'm saying.
They might not.
What you really should do if you want to make money is find a way to repress your Starflyer vinyls and make them seem like they're actually the originals that you originally pressed, and then eBay those things. Because I'll tell you, man, someone gave me a Starflyer vinyl once, and I had sold it for like $70 on eBay.
Yeah, but how long ago was that?
It was a while back, but there's still some crazy nerds out there that will spend that amount of money on a vinyl record, you know.
Yeah, no, it's true. People are really crazy about Starflyer. I get emails all the time asking about Fashion Focus or Everyone Makes Mistakes. Mike is on the screen, but he's quiet. Is that normal?
No, it's not normal. My dog's making noise, so I'm trying to mute
Oh,
my
gotcha.
microphone
Okay,
so
no,
she
just throw me
doesn't-
off. All right,
Yeah.
I'll get used to this. So I do actually have the rights to press gold on vinyl, but what's really weird about it is Tooth and Nail sold like all of their rights to like EMI or Capitol, and so I don't actually know the state of my rights for that.
Well, then what you do is you manufacture it and you put it out there.
Yeah.
And you show them that contract, because it doesn't matter if they sell something. It doesn't negate your contract that you have.
No, that's true. That's true. I guess I'm just afraid of being sued by
All the rights are
a big
transferred.
corporation. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You would win,
Yeah.
and they would lose money. You could represent yourself on that one, and you would win.
Yeah,
It's
that's
automatic.
true. That's true.
God, just don't listen to us tonight.
Well, in 1996, I played it fast and loose with that Rocket to Ramonia thing.
And look, and that turned out great, man.
It did. No one ever came knocking.
Right? We're to this day, we're like, we put out we remastered and re-released Fun and Games on vinyl, and Sweet 16 on vinyl, and digital release, and never said anything to anybody, as if we actually own those recordings, which we don't. Really the people who own the recordings would be, if they're even, it's probably, the label's probably not even in existence anymore. Maybe they are, but they're just like, we were so far under the radar, they probably don't even know they own it. It was, what was that label that he sold Flying Tart
Wasn't
to?
it called We Own Your Songs? Wasn't that like...
Oh, no, that's Tooth and Nail.
Oh, that was Tooth and Nail.
Yeah, dude.
Oh wait, so Alex actually sold Flying Tart? He didn't just like fold it?
No. Like, he sold it to that other company, and they got it in, and I mean, I remember when we wanted to re-release Fun and Games, we just did it. We were like, who gives a crap? We're punk rock, man.
Yeah,
Just
I
do
like
it.
that. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, you're inspiring me.
I'm telling you, man. I tell people all the time. People always write me and say like, "Hey," they'll always like, for some reason I'm like the guy that they ask these questions to, as if I'm like some like notary person or whatever. But anyway, from time to time I'll get kids that'll be like, "My band wants to record blah 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 cover song. What do we have to do to be able to make that legal?" And I always say, "Nothing. Just record it."
Nice.
Just record it and put it out, and the worst thing that could happen, first of all, you're only going to sell 10 copies. The worst that could happen is that the labels, whoever owns the song is going to come to you. Unless it's a huge, enormous hit and millions of dollars are involved, no one's going to come to you, period. At the very most, you have to make restitution after the fact to the tune of what you would have had to pay anyway, which is not hardly anything. It's really just not a big deal. So... we've never paid any royalties on those Ramones songs from Rocket to Ramonia, and that's when we released it. When you released it, you never paid Jack for it.
Nope.
When we re-released it again as part of the box set that we did, nothing. Then we recorded other Ramones songs, did it. We never paid anything for that stuff, man. We just did it. If you're far enough under the radar, people don't care.
I just like to say that I don't know what he's talking about. I absolve myself.
This is a YouTube thing that's going to be there forever on YouTube, forever. So, it might be like your grandkids end up getting sued later on down the road. But you guys can deal with that because I didn't play on those records. I don't care.
Well, they can come after Lying Fart Records for that Rocket to Ramonia and make the settlement that way.
Like that. At the P.O. box, whatever.
Yeah,
There wasn't even an address listed, right?
I can't remember. I'd have to go look at it.
I don't think there was. No.
I do remember
we just
the Flying
took the
Tart
artwork.
alien.
Yeah, it was the same little space alien, and just reversed the letters on whatever cryptic, art program we had back then.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
And
and he had
we
the thumbs down instead of the thumbs up. That was
Yeah.
a classy touch.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And then we went and took the real artwork from the back of the Ramones Rocket to Ramonia, took the real thing, changed like nothing, and just put it on the back of our record. I think we like changed
Fred's
the
just
text
so
in-
free flowing with information tonight. He's just flowing. Here's all the illegal things that we have ever done
That's right.
in one compact episode.
I would like to say that I did pay the royalties for Rock and Roll Habits for the New Wave, those two cover songs. I actually did pay the mechanical royalties on that, so that is legal.
You did?
I did.
Wow. Was it a lot?
To the Muffs and the...
Yeah, and
Who's
the Go-Go's.
The Go-Go's, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 5 cents a song per copy. So
10 cents. So you paid 10 cents times 1,000. You made 1,000 of those, right?
Right. Yeah,
So you
exactly.
paid $10.
And then I had to pay some clown some licensing processing fee. So maybe it was like $150 or something. I can't.
Wow,
remember.
but it was only $10 in mechanicals, and then it was $120 something, $130 something, $140 for licensing fees to like some dude.
Yeah,
Because 10 cents for for
maybe it
1,000
was
is
maybe it was
$10.
more maybe it's 10 cents per song or 9 cents per song.
Well, still, that ain't much.
I forget.
Man.
Yeah,
Make
it wasn't
1,000.
much. Maybe it was like $75 I paid. I can't remember.
You got ripped off, man.
I did. I wanted to feel good at night when I went to sleep. I wanted to atone for the Rocket to Ramonia thing.
You know what? I bet Tooth and Nail didn't even pay any royalties to the Ramones for that. They would. I mean, because it's it is good business to not pay unless you're caught, and then pay what you would have had to pay anyway, because that's all you do. There's not like fines and penalties. It's just that you have to, okay, we got caught, now we have to pay for it. So it's, from a business standpoint, it's good business to just, we're just going to do it. If they come out, if they find out about it and anybody comes to us, then we'll deal with it then.
Well,
And I guarantee that's what they did.
The vinyl plant that I use, they catch sometimes if there's a cover. Like, actually, one of the bands that I put a record out for, I didn't realize that one of the songs was a cover, and they made me pay the royalties before they would press it, because they're part of some like copyright like cabal kind of thing.
Right. But it still wasn't much.
Yeah, it was like $50 then or something, right? Yeah.
Right.
It was just more of a hassle because you want to get your records.
Right.
It's interesting. I think it's more of a big deal if you like what's that band, the Verge? Is that what they're called? The band that had like the Bittersweet Symphony song, you know?
Oh, is that the Verve Pipe? The Verve? Or the Verve?
The Verve, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
Verve.
They, I think, got sued by the Rolling Stones because that was their idea to make that melody or something, and so now that song is like not on. It's like,
yes, if you steal a song or part of a song, then there's an issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it was really just a melody. Which how do you claim a melody? I don't know how you claim that kind of stuff.
A melody is songwriting. That's
Yeah.
like the songwriting is the lyrics and melody. That's half of it.
Yeah, I know, but
I think they probably settled and covered that though, because that song's still on the radio, like on yeah. So they still play it. So I mean, if you figured it, if it was a deal where every time they play that song on the radio, they'd have to shell over X amount of dollars, they'd probably just say don't play the song on the radio anymore. So they must have figured that out somehow. But,
You know what's funny? What's interesting is that if you steal a part of a song, you can get sued. But if you just steal the whole song and just record it and just put it on your record, no problem. That's fine.
yeah. I don't think that works with everyone though. I don't think.
Well, no. If
big
any of those
time guys
things would
are
have
gonna get
actually been
away
a
with
big
that.
hit on the radio, then there would have been a problem.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
I mean,
So,
this kind of like I don't know, 5 episodes ago, we were talking about the Sweet Child of Mine ripoff that came out recently, where that song actually was recorded, I don't know, 10 years prior to GNR doing it.
Oh.
Kind of the same. I mean, it wasn't Sweet Child of Mine, but it was a different. Do you remember this conversation? Anyone?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do. I mean, yeah, it was an
Remember.
Australian band that recorded it, and it was 4 or 5 years before Appetite, and it bears some pretty
Extremely
big resemblances.
exact.
Like the whole song is like the same song, only
There was
different.
good points made though that it was like how on earth would any of the guys in Guns N' Roses have actually heard that song? We're kind of sort of spoiled with the internet. We can kind of get anything, but in 1987, could you get anything? And how would you get an import from Australia that really wasn't a big deal and decide, hey, this song's really awesome, let's rip it off? I mean,
And why would you want an import of that band back then?
right? Yeah, there's all kinds of ways of like
Hair band was making, hair bands were happening, all this kind of stuff, and that's like an early '80s, like Greg Kihn band, but from that band. They don't ride them like that anymore. They just don't ride them like that anymore. You know that song? Well, anyway.
Sing another verse.
You know what song it is? Okay. So
We might get sued for the podcast.
Stylistically, that's the kind of band it was, or it would have been like a Tommy Two-Tone, But this was a band from Australia. Why would Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses been checking that out in 1985? Why would they have been hunting that down to listen to that?
Right.
It doesn't
Find
really
out
doesn't.
why. Go back and watch our old episodes, and you'll find out why.
They were on a lot of drugs, though. So, all things are possible.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, like you're doing vinyl records, and I know nothing about. I don't have a record. I'm like Cliff. I don't have a record player.
Oh man.
Maybe I should, but I don't. But
I do.
Yeah, I remember back when you did the High School Rock vinyl. I mean, it was expensive to do that sort of thing, to like make a master and press the records. I mean, has it gotten any less expensive? Are you still shelling out a fair amount of money to make these records?
Yeah, like when you do a run of like 500 or 1,000 records, I mean, it's on the order of $5 or $6 a copy. So that's why, like, when you go to the record store and you see vinyl records for $20, I mean, they're not really ripping you off. In fact, they're, upcharging a lot less than a CD. And a lot of times, there'll be specialty packaging that goes along with it. So, like, vinyl records are kind of a deal to some extent. One of the biggest problems with pressing vinyl these days is that everybody wants to do it. I like to rant and rave a lot about Jack White because I for a while was using the same record plant that Jack White would press at, and so he's clogging it up with 80,000 copies of that Lazaretto record on vinyl, right? So that means they can do about 1,000 records a day, I think, on a pressing plant. So he's tying up one of the pressing presses for like 80 days throughout the year, which just means that people have to wait in line behind him. And I'm sure that Jack White doesn't wait in line. So what would happen is I would schedule a release. Like I scheduled a record last August 1st. I just got the vinyl for it in May from that plant. So, I mean, that's like 8 months for vinyl. I mean, it was really kind of infuriating. So, I would say that that's not really normal. Like there's another plant that I use and the turnaround time's more like 4 or 5 months. So, definitely there's really long turnaround times. And so I think that makes things difficult. And then major labels are doing the major label kind of thing where they realize that they've got this back catalog and there are enough people out there that if they show up on record store day and they press 5,000 copies of some garbage record on vinyl, that that thing sold like a couple million copies in 1998 or whatever the year is, right? So like there's 2,000 people that'll pay $25 for it on vinyl, which is a lot more than are going to pay for it on iTunes. So that means, like, weirdly, like, the major labels, if they do that enough times, those, like, dollars, like, really add up to some money for them. So, like, if you go to record store day, it's just, like, the shelves are, filled with crap records that are kind of clogging out, like, what would be, like, the cool records, to someone who's, like, really into, like, more independent music or, punk rock or whatever, right? Like, those major label releases are kind of in the way. So it's kind of an interesting like situation.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard with any of these bands that are trying to get vinyl out, it's like don't plan on if you come up with the idea and you record the stuff and it's all ready to go, don't plan on it coming out anytime soon. It's like,
yeah, it's such a long lead time, and it's really hard because like you can digitally release something in like a matter of seconds, right? And then to wait 4 or 5 months for your vinyl, is really difficult.
Yeah.
We're not very patient anymore about releasing records.
Right.
With that being an issue, are there like new pressing vinyl plants popping up, or is this a thing where people aren't really going to invest in that kind of thing because there's the possibility that in 5 years there won't be this big boom for people to want to buy records anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a real big part of it. Like, I heard some story on NPR, and like actually both of the plants that I use to press vinyl, they interview people from both of them. And the one plant in Nashville, they've invested a lot in buying like used record presses and then sort of refurbishing them and bringing them up to snuff so they can press vinyl. One of the other issues, though, is this is a technology that people were skilled at using in like the 70s and 80s. So a lot of those like operators of the presses, they've already retired or they're close to retirement age, and there aren't a lot of people to kind of take their place. So it's not really like an assembly line kind of job. Like there's a real skill to like pressing vinyl that I don't know that people are really aware of. It's like a very mechanical process. So like a glob of hot vinyl goes into the press, and then it's like very mechanically like pressed into the vinyl, and you have to kind of inspect each copy. And then they listen to a lot of the copies to make sure they're right. So you have to like, have some level of skill to like say like, oh, this LP like turned out great, or oh, we've got a problem with this press, like, and kind of know what the issue is, right? Like the top stamper is too heavy, or I don't know what it is, like to make those adjustments.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you got bands sending in CD masters for vinyl, so they get the vinyl, but the vinyl sounds like crap.
Yeah, exactly.
And that happens all the time.
No, it does. It does. It doesn't cost that much more to have someone like tweak your record to press it on vinyl.
Correct.
It's worth that money.
Right, and the thing is you can now take. I mean, I've got a process that I do now where I can take a CD master, and I can basically I have a I built it myself. But what it is basically is a reverse compressor. So it actually reverse compresses. I mean, not when something's compressed, it's compressed, right? But it simulates that. It puts all the peaks right back where they would have been, and then you can properly know, because you can't just take a CD master and say, I want this on vinyl. I'm just going to turn it down.
Right.
I'm just going to turn it down and send in the lower volume to the mastering plant. It'll still sound just as messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So when I built this, it was pretty cool, and I use it all the time. What it really is great for is it allows me to, for somebody who wants CD master and a vinyl master, I get to just do a CD master, and then I do this process at the end for the vinyl, and it is glorious. That's what I did on that. That's why I was able to give you that mastering so cheap, because I really wanted to do it. It was an album I wanted to be a part of. But I knew it wasn't really going to be a lot of work to go from the CD master and then do the vinyl master from that too.
No, and it turned out great. Like, for those that don't know, like Cliff ended up remastering Scattered Fuse Sin Disease for vinyl. That's coming out actually in a week or two. So we spent a lot of time this year getting that ready, all the artwork ready, and Cliff worked on the audio. So it turned out great. So he's ready. He knows what he's doing.
Man, where's Rick on
the second half of the show is brought to you by Steinhaus Mastering.
There you go.
Send this man your money.
We're gonna get corporate sponsors all over the place here.
Right. I just don't believe, like, Rick. I mean, I can believe the fact that Rick is not here, but Scattered Fuse is his like all-time favorite band, and here we are talking about him. He's not.
Doesn't he like the 77s more than Scattered Fuse?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Really?
I think he's all about that Sin Disease.
I think he does.
I don't know how much he's into vinyl, but anyway.
You might be right.
But
77s have a big, long, giant catalog, whereas, Scattered Fuse not so much. Scattered Fuse has one super, super revered album, Sin Disease. Then they had demos that people heard about for years that everybody just wanted to be able to hear it. And then when they finally heard it, they were like, oh, okay, that's not a big deal. And then there was their Jawbone album, which is very cool, but honestly is just not as good as Sin Disease. And then there's the other albums that it's Alan and some other guys, and they're cool, but it just doesn't have that same magic as. I mean, that Sin Disease album is the, you've heard the term lightning in a bottle. We lost Scott.
Did we?
Yeah, we sure did. But that album, that Sin Disease album, is lightning in a bottle. It is just, oh my gosh, it's just so good. And that happens to a lot of bands where they'll make one really, really, really killer album. Just everything was in the right place for that album. Mike, have you ever even listened to that album, Sin Disease by Scattered Fuse? Oh,
nope.
It's just so good.
Nope, I haven't. But what was it? Probably a month ago, I woke up and had a text on my phone from Rich Murphy, and
oh wow! How did Rich get your phone number?
He's had it forever. I think there was probably like on iPhone, your messages just keep until you delete them, and I think I scrolled up, and the one before that was from 4 years ago or something. But he's like, "Hey man, I'm passing through your area this morning. Mind if I stop by?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome." So he came by and hung out for a while. And he
had his beard, bald head and beard still.
Not the full beard, just the giant goatee with the bald head. Yes, very much what you would expect.
And what's really interesting is he hasn't lost any of his hair. He just shaves his head. He actually has a full head of hair. Other guys would be very upset by that.
But he was mentioning that Scott had taken on a role with another label company something. Are you doing work with another
Yeah, so Daniel Smith from Danielson, he has a label called Sounds Familiar, and when Danielson was actually on Tooth and Nail, I was going to put out Try Danielson Alpha and Omega on Burnt Toast vinyl, and we did something that you guys would be proud of. So if we did it on Burnt Toast vinyl, I was going to have to pay like 10 or 15% of the proceeds back to Tooth and Nail. But if Daniel like started his own label, then we could do it without paying those royalties. So basically, like I paid for the records, and that started Sounds Familiar back in the day. So in a sense, like Alpha and Omega, I pressed it and basically, was like selling it through mail order, but it was really on Daniel's label. And so like I helped him do like 2 or 3 releases. Like this was probably like 1999 to 2001 or so. And then, we meet up from time to time, and at the end of 2013, we just sat down to talk and, figure things out. One of the things that I'm really good at and I really like to do is to like arrange to press records, to get the artwork set up, to get the audio set up, to kind of do all those details. And I have money to pay for things too, which also helps. And so Daniel and I, we sort of partnered a bit to kind of revamp Sounds Familiar. So we've been kind of keeping some of the older titles in print. So Sufjan Stevens' Seven Swans came out on Sounds Familiar. That's one of the big releases. And then quite a few of the Woven Hand records came out on Sounds Familiar as well. So there's like a pretty good back catalog. And so we've been kind of working to kind of have some new bands come on the label. Sounds Familiar was also a label that Soul Junk was on. I don't know how familiar you are with some of these bands, but Glenn from Soul Junk, he's got a new like kind of garage rock band called Octagrave. That's a lot of fun. And so like if you see like videos of them or like photos of them, they're like guys in their late 30s or early 40s, which I'm sure we can all relate to, but just going crazy. They're jumping in the air. I mean, it's like they're 22 and just like having the most fun in their lives. So it's just really fun to kind of watch them just like go at it. And they're technically really skilled. I mean, just like when you guys go play live, you've got the skill. Like you've learned how to play the guitar for 20 years, or the drums or the bass. You're ready to play. You've got that skill that like 19-year-old kids can't like emulate. They don't have that skill. There's no way they're going to outplay you. So kind of exciting to see that happen.
They'll outplay me. They won't outplay Josh.
That's cool though. I like that. I like that. I like everything you just said there. I like good evening, man. Good couple of sentences. I just liked everything about that. It was really cool.
and I've always been a fan of Daniel. Like he's he's definitely a bit of an outsider. Like the music's a bit strange. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I've definitely always appreciated his creativity, and like he just gets out there. He makes a lot of people smile, and makes fun songs, and has a good heart, and I love that.
Yeah.
So Scott, we're making a Johnny Walker solo album.
Wait, what?
We're making a Johnny Walker solo album.
Yes.
Josh and Mike are both, like, Josh is playing all the lead guitar. Mike is playing all the background vocals. Mike's gonna help me. We're all gonna be producing it. It's a throwback music that I've been writing for a long time. It's stylistically, it's the old style swing kind of strumming on acoustic guitar that you would have heard from like in the 1930s, but the melodies are more like Neil Young and Bob Dylan and stuff like that. So it's cool stuff. It's really, really good. And if you like it, maybe you'll want to make some physical copies of it for us.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I want to hear more.
Well, I'll send that to you when it's all done.
Oh yeah, for sure. So the other thing that I'm doing, I don't know how much we want to get into everything all right at the beginning, but
we do.
So I'm helping some guys start a brewery, guys and a girl start a brewery in Philadelphia. And one of the things that we came up with, so the brewery is called Crime and Punishment Brewing Company.
Okay.
And just as a result of like all that talk about vinyl, one of the things that's like really come back, because making vinyl is such a difficult process, people are starting to make cassettes and CDs again in small numbers. Right. And so we decided, like, let's just have this like fun little cassette label that's associated with the brewery. So we have something called Crime and Punishment Packaged Goods, and we're just releasing cassettes.
Wow.
And the name of the brewery comes from Dostoevsky, the Russian author. and so we're trying to recruit some Russian bands to be on our cassette label. We started off with Me Without You's 10 Stories on cassette. There's a Philadelphia band that we're really good friends with called Oldermost that's on the label, and then some really good friends of mine from Copenhagen called Ring Them Bells have a release on that as well.
These are manufactured cassettes, right? They're not.
They are. They look really nice. Now
there's another band from Philly that's there's another Russian band out there called Ivan and the Reds.
Oh, yeah, Ivan and the Reds. Yes, I should put them out on cassette. Now here's a great story. So when we were starting up the brewery, one of the people that we were looking at to be the plumber was Kenny Klein from Uzziah 121. So back in the day, and I was like, oh, we have to have Kenny do our plumbing. That'd be so amazing. And so he was the one that did the plumbing work, and it's spectacular. It looks really, really good, and he's so good at it. So anybody in Philadelphia, if you need a plumber, Kenny Klein's your man. But in any case, he's got a new band called Fang Fang with Tom from 121. And so we pretty much
video. That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like a little more like countrified, I guess.
Yeah.
But like a little Johnny Cash, maybe kind of angry country. And so I think we're gonna do a cassette with Kenny's band.
Yeah, you should.
So just to have fun, right? 100 cassettes cost you a couple $100. Why not?
Well, so then you should make limited quality CDs of those bands too. Why not?
Yeah, some of them as well. We're doing CDs, and so like what I would do is I would do the CD on Burnt Toast vinyl for some of those bands, and then put it through my distributor, so it gets out into stores, and maybe we sell 150, 200 copies. Because I feel like there are people that buy CDs still.
I feel like Rich mentioned this when he was here as well, circling back a bit, and I thought though there was some other sort of twist on this too, where depending on the band, perhaps the brewery brewed a beer to go along with the band, maybe, and it was like a specialty type thing.
Well, so we have talked about some of that. So the one band, Ring Them Bells, I did a one-sided LP with them, and so I have a series of one-sided LPs where the A side is music and the B side is an etching. And the Ring Them Bells one-sided LP came about. I was in Copenhagen with my friend Michael, and we went to a brewery or a brew pub in Copenhagen from the brewery Mikkeller. And as we're walking back, Michael said that he's really good friends from Mikkel, who runs the brewery. And it was like 3 a.m, so I thought he was just, talking like you talk at 3 a.m. So he emails him and says, like, hey, I think that to Mikkel, he says, like, I think you should do this record with my friend Scott. He's here from the United States, really good friends with me, and like we should come together and do this like beer and vinyl release. So our friend Jan had this band Ring Them Bells and decided to do a one-sided LP. So that came out in Europe as an LP and a beer together. And so when we put out Ring Them Bells on cassette, Jan happened to be visiting, so we had a special event at the brewery where using the recipe that was etched into the vinyl, that was the B-side etching, and the artwork was the actual recipe to homebrew the beer, which tastes delicious if you're into beer. We can make this wonderful like coffee imperial porter, and so we had samples of that at the brewery to kind of celebrate the cassette release when Jan was in town. So, as we do more of these, we'll probably have some special beers for the bands.
Yeah, for the Johnny Walker one, we'll have to do like non-alcoholic, tastes like water.
Yeah, totally. I can make you some kombucha.
What?
Or maybe some water mixed with some Johnny Walker.
Yeah, you already have a beverage named after you.
Yes, I understand that. But see, that's the thing is it could be non-alcoholic and taste like Now and Laters, and I'm fine with that. But as long as it doesn't taste like beer and it doesn't have any alcohol in it, then sign me up.
Virgin daiquiri for this guy.
Sounds good.
Well, I'm gonna drop off here for a minute to go post the join link. Got a couple messages from people wondering when that's gonna happen. So continue. I'll be back in like a minute. I'm just gonna mute so you don't hear my keyboard clicking and all that crap.
Yeah. Hey, Josh. Hey, Scott. We've got a question for you.
Okay, sure.
From Jared Porter.
Okay.
What's the coolest, most unique vinyl you had a part in making? I've seen colored vinyls, translucent, playing inside out, etc. Or what was your favorite? I don't know. Maybe that one you just talked about was the most coolest one you had, the beer one.
Yeah, that was really a pretty cool concept, the one-sided LP. And then that one we kind of cheated a little bit. So the B-side actually had like a hidden track around the etching, so you could actually play one song on the B-side that was supposed to be the etching side. So that was like kind of a cool combination. Probably like one of the nicer records that I did with my friend Michael from Copenhagen. We put out a triple LP for Mount Erie, who's basically this guy Phil Elverum who lives in upstate Washington. Kind of like mellow indie rock stuff, but it's a triple live LP, and the sixth side is an etching, and on that sixth side, around the outside of that side as well, is a song that Phil and my friend Michael recorded in his apartment in Copenhagen. And the artwork's really nice. It's like a triple gatefold that Phil like hand drew all the artwork. I mean, it looks beautiful. So from that perspective, I really like the way it turns out. I mean, as far as vinyl goes, this is gonna make a lot of people mad, but I'm a fan of 150 gram, not the heavy stuff, black vinyl. 180 gram audiophile vinyl is probably overrated. You're just, using up more oil. There's no reason for it. If you keep your records right, regular weight vinyl is gonna last plenty fine. And then there's actually an interesting thing that happens as soon as you start to add color vinyl into the mix. You actually lose some quality in the audio, and you actually get some surface noise. So there's like a hierarchy. So transparent colors, they have a little bit less surface noise than some of the other colors. And then as you get into like white vinyl or colors that are blended with white, then you also have an additional like problem with the surface noise. And when you get into things like splatter vinyl and like weird picture discs and all that, like the sound quality like sometimes is on the verge of being unlistenable. So
right, that's why I mean I've always kind of taken it to be anybody who invests in that kind of vinyl are just buying something for, in their mind, the cool factor. They're not really listening to that stuff.
Yeah. Now that said, I definitely support selling what people want. So for Me Without You's Brother Sister, like that's come out on about a dozen different colors, and so some of them have been like we did an orange and white, like marbled vinyl. We did a blue and white marbled vinyl. You can actually get records that are half one color and half another color. So we did like transparent pink, transparent purple combination. We did transparent red and yellow. Just, whatever seems kind of fun. And people seem to buy it. There is always a problem, though, with those records because Me Without You is a really popular band. A lot of people that are kind of getting into vinyl, they seem to buy Brother Sister as one of their entry-level records. And so they're playing this vinyl that's going to have some issues with surface noise or issues like actually playing back on a turntable that maybe isn't set up right, or the one you got from the thrift store or the one that you bought on Amazon. Don't ever buy a Crosley turntable. It's terrible for your records. Sounds bad. So if you're listening and you have Brother Sister, don't play it on your Crosley turntable. It won't sound good. Take that back, or give it to your younger brother or sister and have them play with it. So that that would be kind of my thoughts on vinyl.
So Scott, have you considered maybe signing an LGBT band and having a rainbow translucent vinyl?
Well, so actually the new Me Without You record is supposed to be like on rainbow vinyl, but they found out that they couldn't do the horizontal or the vertical stripes, so it's like multicolor like spirals now. But
oh, that's cool. That's all right.
I just got up to check what kind mine is, and it's a Crosley.
Throw it out.
But it has a built-in tape player and a CD player.
I'm suspicious.
This is the most informative episode of the show ever, really, because usually we just talk about dumb stuff, but actually getting like some good information here.
No, yeah.
Keithy, what are you doing?
Keithy wants to show off his burnt toast stuff.
No, I want to know when the gold reissue is coming out, so I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, so well, we can talk about it actually. So
You
I
mentioned
have
it earlier, but yeah.
yeah, so I had a license to do it in 2010. I signed up for it, and so I did extensive work. So we actually we talked to Tooth and Nail, and we got the actual 2-inch tape. We did a digital transfer of all the material that was recorded for Gold. So when they recorded Gold, they also recorded Le Vainqueur, and they recorded the Goodbyes Are Sad 7-inch. So all of those songs are on the 2-inch reels. So we digitally transferred those with the idea of like kind of potentially remixing some of the songs that you know, Jason wasn't happy with, that didn't necessarily age well. And then along with that, I ended up interviewing probably 20 or 25 different people multiple times about the making of Gold. So, you know, I talked to Jason probably like, I don't know, for 8 or 10 hours. I actually ended up flying to California like for a little vacation, but I met up with Jeff Cloud, met up with Jason Martin. Jason and we went to go hang out with Bob Moon to kind of, you know, talk the details about making Gold. Bob Moon actually, during the making of Gold, he had just bought one of those VHC or VHS-C cameras. So it's like those little mini VHS tapes. So he has footage of Jason Martin in the studio, nice, recording Gold, and so I had to get this special adapter to, like, you know, dump the footage down. So I have probably like an hour and a half of footage of them in the studio making the record from, you know, 1995. It's crazy looking. So, you know, the idea was to like figure out how to compile this somehow, to like turn those interviews into some sort of book. So Andrew Horton and I were really good friends, and he did the book for Joy Electric's Melody, and I don't, you guys may not be Joy Electric fans, but the reissue of Melody is beautiful, and the book is amazing. Like I was reading that book, just like learning all kinds of things that I didn't know about kind of the history of, you know, Southern California, like underground Christian music. Like there are things about that you just don't know happened, and like they're talked about in that book, it's incredible. So that kind of stuff is like really interesting to learn about. So you know, I would eventually like to do that with Gold, but again, I was nervous, but maybe I have the newfound strength to just go push through it since I have that contract.
Yeah, and Keith, you'll buy it, so you're set.
I definitely know we would sell that, so I get emails and tweets all the time about it. Well, and the original pressing, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a single LP. But that record is like 45 or 48 minutes long.
It's 52 minutes?
Yeah, so you should have never, Tooth and Nail shouldn't have put that on a single vinyl. And so, you know, I admire, you know, probably it was James Morellis that made that happen. So I admire that. That's amazing. You know, props to them for doing it. However, it probably should have been like, you know, double 10 inches or 2 LPs to sound right. So the idea was for like Gold to come out possibly as a double or triple LP with like Le Vainqueur and the 7-inch songs all on it as well.
Yeah, but in reference to Cliff, this thing would fetch probably about $200 on eBay right now, cash money in hand. But you know, whatever. And,
what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, man?
This thing, it's all on eBay for $112 twice just in the past couple weeks.
Oh, so, really?
The Starflyer vinyl.
Wow.
Now's the time. Sell that stuff.
Wow, I know some of the folks that I know the guy that put out Leave Here a Stranger. I should get his plates and repress that.
I mean, I remember when Rocket to Harmonia on CD was selling for $100 on eBay, and people were buying it.
Yep,
it's crazy.
Stupid.
Right.
My wife bought it for I think 55 or 60.
Wow. And
you there?
Scott froze up. He may have to come back in.
Keith, did you feel totally ripped off when you bought it?
No, because I bought mine at your show for $10.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
So yeah, 30 bucks a piece then, if you average it out. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Tom, you were asking a question?
I thought you went away to list some MXPX CDs on eBay.
Me? Yeah, a whole box of them.
Yeah. I guess not everyone probably knows that story, so we won't even go into that.
No, we've actually talked about it extensively on this show.
Oh, did you really?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I don't follow you guys, so.
Oh well. By the way, next week we have Mike Herrera, Tom Wisniewski, and Yuri Riley will be on the program.
All right.
Awesome.
Is
Have a
Yuri playing
reckoning.
drums with them again?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, they just played a couple shows with Screeching Weasel in Canada.
Wait, can I say I do have some pretty awesome news for our next guest, which I haven't even talked to Mike or anyone yet about this. Like literally just found out right before.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Breaking news for everyone. Guess who the next guest is going to be?
Do we want to discuss and agree before we announce?
Everyone can have one quick guess.
Your mom.
No. Come on.
Halo Friendly's girl.
Nah, all right. It's a former Huntington, and here's the thing, Scott. You might guess this because I think you have done recent work with him. Maybe
It would have been Adam. Is it Adam?
Ooh.
Dave.
Nope.
Bradley?
There's only 19 more. Let's rattle them off.
Yeah, I know.
Paul Mook Stanley.
There you go.
No. All right. I guess everyone give up then.
Yes, we give up.
All right,
Anticlimax.
Josh Zimmer. I talked to Josh Zimmer tonight.
Oh.
Danny. He was Danny. He was our drummer for a while.
Okay, that'll be cool.
I was actually going to request that earlier today
Yeah, dude.
because I was thinking about that guy.
I wouldn't mind getting as many of those guys on here as possible. I think we should get Brad on here. I think we should try to hunt down Mike Pierce. That would be
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely. I mean, we'll never get Marty, but that would be cool. And I still think having Dave on here to give me the evil eye the whole time would just be awesome. He would just sit there literally the whole time and just go like this. And then he'd probably, rub something on a phone or something. And then
So chances are good that Dave won't be on the show.
right. And then
Just kill that possibility.
But then Adam, I think would be very cool to have on the show. He's real fun loving and really talkative, and that'd be cool.
So anyway, Cliff, can I just get back to this real quick and just talk
Yes,
about?
I'm sorry. Yes, Josh Zimmer.
No, it's cool. Like I've always wondered whatever happened to that guy, and I know that he's not like on Facebook or whatever. And if you're not on Facebook, then how would you ever know anyone is still alive? Anymore.
Yeah.
If it's someone that you haven't seen since like 2002 or 2001 or whenever the last time he was with us, like 2000, I guess. So
It was 2001.
2001. It was something. It was at least 14 years ago, but.
One.
But anyway, so I was listening to Rocket from the Crypt this morning, and I remembered they were like his favorite band. And when I got my first tattoo, when you got your first tattoo,
Yes.
he got his first tattoo, which was a Rocket from the Crypt logo on his wrist or whatever.
So that he would be able to get into all their shows for free.
Right. That was
Wonder how often he used that.
I don't know, man. But here's the thing, it made me think. When I got to work, I Googled him and I found he's in a new band, and then I sent the band a message and I said, "Tell Zimmer to call me. Here's my number. My name's Josh. I played in a band with him." And then he called me later on, and so crazy I really have not talked to the guy in 14, 15 years. So I think it'll be cool. He's super excited about it, and just from the quick 10-minute conversation we had, because I had to actually hang up with him so I could come do the show. He was like, he said that I said, I got to do this show. We're doing the show, but you should come do it next time. And tonight we have Scott Hatch. You know who he is? He's like, oh yeah, because him and his wife Danielle, he's still married to her, 13 years I think he said. They started a record label and put out, he said, about 3 dozen records of bands and stuff. And
Oh wow.
I wish I could remember what the record label was called, but it's up in Erie, PA, and I don't know. Yeah, I think he had some kind of collaboration with you at some point down the road, but I don't even remember what the record label's called. But so, keep up there. But
Good
Well,
story.
I have to
Good story.
say, it could be that I'm old, but I'm not sure I know that.
yeah, I mean, well, he was on the Rock and Roll Habits CD that you put out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
other than that, like I don't know if you would have ever met him or anything, but I don't know. I think it'll be cool because he's, I think it'll be a good show. Not as good as this show because this one is way more informative than anything we've ever done in the past.
Hey,
Nice,
is the label called Basement Transmissions?
Yeah, I think
No,
so.
no, it's called
No.
Free Public Records.
No, I think it's Basement, not
Free
Basement
public
Records, but
Oh
Basement.
no, that's I'm sorry. That's just where he just comes up, and the fact he's 33 now and stuff, and he lives. That's funny. Okay. I'm embarrassed. Okay.
That's a good
So-
record label name, Free Public Records.
I think that would be awesome. Oh my gosh, that would be so cool. But I think it's.
That's what I'm gonna press High School Rock on.
Free Public Records. That kicks butt. Basement. I think it's Basement Transition.
Yeah,
Transmission.
that's ringing a bell for sure.
Google.
Hey,
See, Google is my friend.
Right, yeah, Google. That's how it all happened.
Free Public Records. Oh, it's free.
Well, anyone
Oh.
else have anything, or can I say one more thing here? So
Say 10 more things.
I'm going to say one more thing about Scott. I want to ask you something. I was thinking about this. Do you remember a show way back? It was Overcome and Strong Arm, and I think
I remember
Cody
that.
Hook and Pink Daffodils, maybe.
Oh yeah, totally.
You remember that? I think it was like 97-ish or something, 96 maybe.
Now, if it was at Drexel, right?
No. I think it was at the daycare that Kenny's. It was like Kenny's mom's daycare.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we did like a Blaster the Rocket Boy show there also
Okay.
at the daycare. Yeah.
Yeah, that was where it was supposed to be. That, what's his name? That kid was going to have him do a. It was supposed to be a festival. They told him that it was coming to all. They were going to have all these big shows, and it was going to be cool. And he shows up and ends up only being that show. I was there at that show. Dave had red hair, and I
Yeah.
thought he looked like a girl. I thought he was a girl because he looked like a girl. He was still a kid. And he just was very had that kind of look to his face. But anyway,
You're the king of amazing sidetracks. All right, so you remember that show? Yeah, I think it was
yeah.
Daffodils, and then Cody Hook was there for some reason because
They always were.
get into that lineup.
Yeah.
Overcome, Strong Arm, and
Sure,
Pink
totally makes sense.
But
we played with Overcome at Drexel before. I mean, Scott
really?
did that. Yeah, Scott did that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah,
That's
you gotta expand the the range. Or those are the only bands or you can get, right?
Right, exactly.
There weren't like hardcore bands very readily available.
No, but I mean, those bands were not local by any means.
Yeah, totally.
They were just Tooth and Nail was getting going, and they were on tour, and everyone was coming to see them. But anyway, that was like one at the time. Like I was so into that show. Like I thought it was like the greatest. I think I had like it was the day after like school ended, and I was still in high school, and it was like
Nice.
summer, and all my friends went down and stuff. But I remember I remember seeing you there, and it was the first time I ever saw you, like super tall guy walking by, and my buddy looks at me and goes, "I bet that's punk rock Scott," and I was like, "Gotta be, man. It's gotta look at him." So I don't know. I just thought about that today. I was like, man, that was really cool because that was like such a legendary, like, oh, there he is, the first time, and now here you are.
So Scott, how tall are you?
I'm 6'5".
Look at that. You're
Yeah.
the tallest human being I know in real life.
Oh, awesome. That's funny.
And Scott,
Why didn't you play basketball?
I mean, I grew up in Indiana, so it was like super competitive.
Were you on the Hoosiers? Did you play for the Hoosiers?
I did not play for the Hoosiers. I didn't even play on my high school basketball team. I was not very, very good.
They didn't recruit you? They at least
No.
tried.
Yeah, I think I unrecruited myself by like attempting to play.
That's awesome.
And earlier today, Scott, you sent some pictures of some interesting things.
Oh yeah. I want to get to this. We gotta explore the history of cricket and the Huntingtons and
Well,
get
it's
to
a
the
good
bottom
thing
of some
Keithy's
things.
here. He's going to just be out of his mind over this.
Oh yeah, I found some stuff, Keithy, that you're gonna want to know about.
I will say, I looked at those pictures that you sent, and all they are the original cassette demos that eventually went on to be the CD that we released, the little homemade CDR that we released, all the stuff. Twisted Sister name, Big Hits and Nasty Cuts, and then we just recently re-released it again, mastered all nice, called Tascam Tapes, Primetime's Tascam Tapes. It's actually the same stuff that's on those.
Oh, it is. So the Pinheads.
The Pinheads.
That's the one.
Yeah, the Pinheads was a part of that. Was the first 6 or 7 of those recordings, and then the Cricket would have been live stuff. The live stuff from the year before, and then we finally were called Huntingtons on the last 8 or 9 of the songs.
So when you changed your name from Cricket and then you were briefly the Pinheads, because I don't think you ever played a show as the Pinheads.
No. We were
You
called
were
the
just like-
Pinheads for about 5 minutes. That was Mike Pierce's idea because that was the name of the band, and that was the name of the band in Back to the Future, of Marty McFly's band.
Oh, right,
You
yeah.
know, since Mike Pierce looks just like him, he wanted to be that, and so we were called that for about 5 minutes, and then we decided. And the record label really hated it, and we just was like, okay, let's come up with something else, and then it morphed into. We all sat around, we picked. We had like 5 names that we had all come up with.
Oh,
We
okay.
all wrote them down. I don't remember any of them other than the Huntingtons, but the Huntingtons was the name of a apartment complex near where Mike Holt lived, or near where Mike Pierce lived, and he thought, and we all thought that it kind of sounded like a traveling gospel band, which back then we thought that was really funny and cool that a punk rock band would have a name that would sound like a traveling gospel singing group. Of course, this was before we had ever heard of any of the other bands with similar names, the Lillingtons or any of that stuff. There wasn't any of that. We didn't know of any of that, and so yeah, that's it. And then by the time Fun and Games came around, we dropped the from the name of the band, and we've been just Huntingtons ever since.
Right, yeah.
So there you go.
Going back into that time when we recorded with what was the guy from Fluffy's name?
Oh, Chris Colbert.
Chris Colbert, yeah, the old cricket demos.
Yeah, Chris Colbert in South Carolina, or not Georgia.
Terrible album.
What was the name of that theater?
It was in Meridian.
Or were you in Marietta, Georgia?
Marietta, Georgia, yeah.
At the Strand?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Very first thing that was going to be our first record recorded with Chris Colbert at the Strand in Marietta, Georgia.
And that's the thing that came out. You gave that to me as a cassette, and it's like, maybe it's even called like Joe Christmas playing on the stereo and like red letters on a white background.
Yeah, that was a cricket demo.
Yeah, that was a real
cricket
demo. That we did. Yeah, that was the only demo we ever did with live drums.
Oh, okay. But you did that like in the South too, right, with somebody?
No, we recorded it on our 4-track just like we did on our little Tascam 4-track tapes, like we did everything.
In a basement somewhere.
I thought you had like met Zach and the Joe Christmas crew.
At the Chris Colbert recording.
Correct.
Oh, and then you did these demos also?
No, we were just we loved that song that they had and thought it would be a cool idea to call our demo Joe Christmas playing on the stereo. Because, you know, dude, we were like, we literally knew nothing about anything. We didn't know what was cool. You know, our ideas and kind of realizing this Ramones world that we walked into, we had to be in that for several years before we finally got a hang of it.
Yeah.
Just like any band, I mean, it takes time to find your sound and find
totally.
You know, good grief, it's just we weren't doing anything. We weren't, as you know, we weren't actively playing shows. I don't think we ever called you once and asked to play a show. You just, you know, Rich gave you our stupid little demo, and it went from there.
Yeah, you know, I think I was trying to remember this. I'm pretty sure I met one or two of you at Messiah College at a Prayer Chain 77 show in 1994, and somebody gave me the Cricket Beans cassette.
That would have probably been me.
And I was looking to find that thing, and I don't think I have it anymore. I think someone took it or I lost it or something. But I would love to hear it.
Well, it's not very impressive. Here you go. Here it is. Right there.
Yes.
Post it.
No, it's not worth listening to.
The internet is waiting. The internet is waiting.
No, we will not.
Oh, wait, is that a-
5 minutes of dead space?
We cannot tarnish. We can show pictures of it every once in a while, but we will not tarnish the name of the legacy of our band by letting anyone actually listen to that.
Maybe not. You're just ruining the legacy of cricket.
Yeah. That looked like a CD version though. That didn't look
It
like
was.
a cassette.
My
Okay.
brother scanned the cassette in, and
Oh.
Mike Holt actually transferred it all to CD for him at one time.
Oh man, that needs to be free.
No, it doesn't need to be free. It's
No.
I know.
Stay
I
right
know
where
the
it is.
cassette label.
No, it's really,
Multi-tool
really,
vault.
really, really, really
It's,
bad.
it's you singing, Cliff,
It's,
right?
it's me singing, and it's drum machine demos, and it's very obviously it's me and Mike recording in his living room at his house when he was, what were you, 15? You were a kid,
16 or 17,
something
yeah.
like that, yeah. And,
Scott, you really need to put out Cliff's new record because it's basically re-recordings of all that stuff.
No, there's
Nice.
one song I wrote in college. There's 4 songs from those old demos that I rearranged and changed the keys and fixed up the lyrics and just made them, and just the whole delivery and the way they come together is much cooler. And then there's a bunch of new songs. So
Now, when cycling back to this whole Strand recording that we
Yeah.
did, it was really bizarre. It was such a weird. We slept in that theater, like that's where we stayed. It was
Chris
really
Colbert
weird.
sweared at us every day.
Everything was very strange. But while we were there, we played a show.
Yep.
I don't remember who the band was.
It was audio. It was like an Audio Adrenaline, or might have been them real early on in their career, or something like that, where they were just dance music.
Yeah.
They were trying to be people are people, but why can't it be whoever sings that song? They were trying to be that kind of thing. Yeah.
Something like that, and they had a big marquee out front, and it
Yeah.
said the name of the headlining band, and it said Cricket probably at that point. And I remember like the theater was huge. It was like this huge theater, and 60 people showed up. I mean, it was like no one was there, and we were just like nobody. So it wasn't any like we didn't take an insult by it. It was like, so what? Why would anybody come see us in a state that we don't even live in? But there was a band there that, like you said, I don't think it was Audio Adrenaline, but it was something that should have brought more people than it did. And it was just like, this is just so. It's been a weird week as it is. We've been like living in this theater and recording in this little room that wasn't even a studio. It was just so bizarre. That whole experience was so weird.
DC Talk.
No. But in that vein, like in that, yeah. We were really psyched about it because it was like, man, we're gonna play this show.
Remember the singer? He had the bleached blonde hair and he carried that little dog with him everywhere. Like he's like carried this little dog with him everywhere. And they like spent all this time doing like all the sound and getting this all set up. I mean, it was enormous. It was like a big time production, and there was seriously like 10 people there.
Yeah.
And we played the song. And the first song we were playing, this was before MXPX ever did it. It was like a signature thing that we were doing at the time. It was Bryan Adams' Summer of '69, and there wasn't even an MXPX that we knew of at this time. I mean, literally, it was that long ago. And we played this. We came out. We were all tuned up. We were all psyched up and ready to go. And I broke a string like before we even got to the chorus, and then we were done. Like before the first song, like before the first chorus of the first song, we were done. Like literally, and we get up, we walk out, we felt like, we felt so awesome. 10 people there. Play me on 6 string, and it was like over. It was so funny.
So weird. That was such a weird thing. And I think the singer for Joe Christmas came and spent the night in the theater with us one night. Like it was so weird.
Yeah, remember, Luke was there because Luke actually came up afterwards. He was like, "Man, that was like so punk rock. You were done in like 10 seconds. That was so cool." It was so awesome.
It was something. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how we even got to that point. But yeah, that was just bizarre.
Yep.
I don't know how I never knew about the Joe Christmas guy being ever like in your lives.
He was our friend, man. It was like the big tall bass player guy.
Whatever
happened? And then he left the band. The band broke up, and he went and did a band called World Without World.
World Against World.
Yeah. And then the singer was like this little punk kid, and then he grew his hair long, and then he got these crazy tattoos, and then and they were like MXPX tattoos all over his arms, and he got all embarrassed, so then he went and he blacked his arms, like tattoo, just big black on his arms. Both arms were just black all the way down. Wonder what he's doing now.
Maybe he's at the Strand. Watching some band play with 10
Hey
other
man,
people.
maybe he joined Slayer or something. Who knows?
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, black, just
weird.
black, all the way down his arms, all of them, like all the way around, and then it stopped right here like a sleeve, like what you have, but just solid black.
Yeah, like I have to think back
one way
and
to
think that
cover
at the
it.
time we thought that was like a really amazing experience. Like this was like
Yep.
so cool, but thinking back, it's like, wow, that was so weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, just even the drive there. Remember, we drove down there, and Luke was in the back, and he had just started dating Jessica, who he's married to now. But he just started dating her, and the whole time going down there, he was like, "Oh, she's so pretty, man. I hope she likes me, man. Oh, she's so pretty." And it's so cool because now he's actually married to her and everything. But at the time, we're there, and we're in there, and we're trying to record this album. And Mike Pierce is like, oh, he didn't, none of us know anything, but he's like speeding up in the middle of the songs real bad, getting all pissed off, and he keeps like saying like, he's being Mike Pierce, like anything I say, he's like, oh, why don't you just shut up, and all that kind of stuff, the way he always does, and I remember Luke coming to me and he's like, man, I'm sorry, Mike's being that way to you, man. I mean, some of this stuff is pretty good, and stuff like that, but. Just it was a very fun, and then on the way back, I was going out with Jolene, and I was all excited to get home to Jolene. So I was like, we had my car. We just drove my sedan, and then we had a big old giant, we had rented a big U-Haul trailer that was way too big for the car. And we had got the little ball, and we had attached it to it. We had our stuff back there, which was nowhere near enough stuff to properly put in this U-Haul trailer. And I'm driving all fast on the way home because I want to see Jolene. And we're swerving around, and the back is all swerving around everywhere. And you guys are like going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's like, what's wrong? What's wrong?
you were on fire tonight, dude.
Yeah, man.
This is great.
I have a question. Are you talking about Luke Harlow? Who's the Luke you're talking
No,
about?
Luke Kaninsky from God of Wahoo, and he was in 274, which Scott put out, and just a really great musician, actually. He lives in Colorado now with his wife and kids, and he plays acoustic guitar, and he's just great. He's just
He
the same
played,
guy.
he played drums with us a couple of times
He
prior.
did. He was in cricket. That's
Yeah.
right. He's in the picture. He's all embarrassed. He's hiding his face. He said, "We're on the swing set. We're all there, and we're on we thought it was a good idea to have my brother have us take pictures of us and a swing set. And back then we were all dressed like we were like in some grunge band or something. And there's Luke Kaninsky on a swing going like this. Make sure that he wasn't seen, so none of his friends would think he was like uncool playing with us. So,
Yeah.
but actually, he was a real good drummer. No.
But
Nice.
bringing it back to Scott, I mean, he was the one that got us into the Drexel shows. First show with MXPX, first show with all those touring bands that came through.
And we became real good friends with what were those guys? Matt and what's his name?
Oh, A Few Loose Screws.
Yeah, we became really good friends with A Few Loose Screws. We were all friends, and then they finally got their crappy record deal with Frontline that just destroyed their band, and then they were gone. But it was, you know, back then before any of us had any record labels. I mean, it was every time we would go there, every time we'd go, we had some new shtick, a new angle that Mike Pierce got us to do. Like one time we all wore Star Wars shirts. Remember that?
No, it's funny. You're bringing the shtick and the angle up, and the very first thing that came to mind, and it wasn't a Drexel show, and I don't know if Scott was at the show, but I feel like it was with A Few Loose Screws, and maybe Goatee Hook, but maybe not. I don't know. But you still lived at home with your mom.
Yep.
And
Well, I did that till I was 30-something.
Well, sure. I don't even know why I meant
Like, why it's surprising about that? Exactly.
Why it's even a point. But the thing is your sister had left a bunch of her stuff at the house. So what we did is
animals.
we went to this room with trash bags, and we bagged up all of her stuffed animals.
Yeah.
And she left them there from her childhood. And we bagged them all up, and we took them to the show, and we thought it would be the best idea ever if we covered "Rock You Like a Hurricane" by the Scorpions. And during that cover, we pulled out these bags of stuffed toys and just started throwing them at the crowd. Just boom, popping.
It was the encore. It was the end of our show, and we were nailing it. We were like throwing, bam.
Bam, 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 and then all of a sudden they started flying back at us. Like, we didn't think it through enough. We were like, this is gonna be awesome.
And in the video, Mike Pierce is all dead.
Yeah, they'll get these stuffed animals and they'll hold them, and they won't do anything but hold them. And we didn't have the mindset to think maybe they'll throw them back at us. And then next thing you know, we're dodging all these stuffed animals, and I think that's on video somewhere.
That was a show in PA somewhere. We had that on video. It was awesome because we played these songs. I mean, that was before we had really even discovered Screeching Weasel and the Queers. I mean, Green Day was about our reference at that point, and so we were playing "Rock You Like a Hurricane" because I think we heard them play like that as some time, whatever. But we were playing that, and no, totally, and we kept playing the whole time. We were playing the whole time we were throwing them, and then we were playing the whole time they were throwing them back, and all of a sudden Mike Pierce stopped, and he gets out of his drums, and he just starts picking them up and just wailing them at people as hard as he can. And at the end of the show, what we found out later was unbeknownst to us, because, when we were done, it was done. And that's the kind of stuff we did to just kind of, that stuff just kind of stuck with people, created buzz around town. It was cool. But, like, when we were done with the show, unbeknownst to us, we heard later on that we left all the stuffed animals there. We stole from my sister. We threw them at people, random people, and then we left them there without even a thought of even like cleaning up after ourselves. So we leave, and then later on, those stuffed animals are still there, and apparently kids went out back behind this venue, and were like burning them. And so like, and the thing is it was some sort of thing. I think they had a daycare there too. And then the next day, people brought their kids there, and there's like, because it wasn't just stuffed animals, it was like a little G.I. Joe figure and stuff, and there was like melted, burned G.I. Joes and Barbies and left over from when we were 5, like Easter bunnies that we got at Easter and stuff like dumb stuff like that, right? And they were all like burnt and charred the next day. And
yeah, so we did a lot of stupid things when we.
I think there was I think people at the time. There was a rumor started that they were all left there because a Satanist group had come by and they were like burning things to Satan and stuff.
The Satanists would always ruin everything, man.
I know. Fun times, man. Good times.
If your sister's watching, I apologize for throwing away all of her stuffed animals.
Hey, she never even knew they were gone, dude. When I moved my mom at it, like Christy and I came back from like living in Texas for a while. We came back and we were doing mainline riders, and we decided to stay with my mom for a while, and in exchange we were gonna clean my mom's house. Oh my gosh, not a good idea. Same deal. We had to, because my mom was like had really become by that point a hoarder, really bad, and so there's like this stuff all over the house. You remember how it was even back then? Like imagine it way worse, right? We had moved. Christy and I, when we cleaned her house, and we got it spectacular, but it took us a long time, but 60 lawn trash bags and 30 kitchen trash bags full of trash and stuff from my mom, the years that we just threw away without my mom ever knowing. We had to do it without my mom even knowing for her to even like deal with it, be able to deal with it. Because every time she'd start to see us take anything out, she'd stop us and no, and come out and rifle through it and pull everything out. It was a bad scene, man. It's always Christmas at the Pow House.
That's right.
Dude.
That's right.
Yeah, people don't know that stuff is real, man. So, back to you, Scott.
Hey, Scott, where do you actually live?
I live in beautiful Lansdale, Pennsylvania, and I'm actually less than a block away from Matt West of A Few Loose Screws.
Oh, tell him that Cliff said hi.
I will do that, for sure.
How's he doing now? Like, what's he look like now and everything? Same?
Yeah, he looks pretty much the same. He's married. They have 3 boys. Yeah, they're great. Good people.
Awesome.
He was involved in local politics for a while, which you should never be involved in local politics.
You should never be involved in politics.
Yeah, people really turn on you.
Like the Lansdale politics, or
yeah. He had like a really good idea. He united some Democrats and Republicans to kind of run outside of the political structure, and that just like pissed both parties off. So they got their kind of group into office and got their agenda through, and then after 4 years, like basically both parties just like hammered them out.
Wow.
It was ugly. But Lansdale's better for it. So thanks, Matt West.
There you go.
I remember playing a show in Lansdale when I was in that band Benevolent. I don't know if anyone. I know we got a lot of big fans out there, but.
Well, you know, I see Ethan Tripp like literally like all the time.
Ethan Tripp, man. He's a drummer. Awesome.
Is he the guy? Who was the guy that was like borrowing my amp and acting like he, you know, was doing me a favor from borrowing my amp? Who was that guy?
Stop! It wasn't anyone. Yes, that was a show that we played with Huntington, but it was a different band. And every time my old band gets brought up, you say the same thing. Oh, who's the guy in your band that borrowed my amp and said all this crap? It was not anyone in my band. It was freaking some other band. I don't know.
Oh, what? That was the. By the way, that show was the Fun and Games album release party that 15 people came to.
That was terrible. Yeah. That was a really terrible show. Yeah. Anyway, but
yeah, I don't think I was at that one. I apologize.
If you would have been there would have been 16 people there.
It was Speedy Delivery, my old band, Huntington's, and some other band that the guy borrowed Cliff's amp and said some crap about it, and he will not ever forgive him for it. But
oh, I forgave him, dude. I just always wondered, like, who is that guy and whatever happened to him? There he is, right there.
That's him. That was who it was.
Nice.
So Scott, I mean, obviously it's been a long time since you've done a Drexel show.
But, yeah. I think the last one was like 1996. I think we tried to do one like after I graduated, and I wasn't able to make it happen.
Well, did anybody? I mean, you did from my memory, which is not great, admittedly. Mm-hmm. But we certainly played quite a few, and you did quite a few there. Did anybody pick that up and continue to have shows at Drexel, or is it just not?
So I was trying to get someone to kind of take it up like after I left, and then you know, I think maybe nowadays Drexel's changed quite a bit. It's like kind of an expensive school, so you get a lot more like kind of indie rocker, alternative kind of folks there. So like there's still the radio station WKDU that I was a DJ at for a long time, but like the kids are like way more into kind of like it used to be like real crust punky like at the radio station, so there was always that kind of vibe at Drexel. And so like actually the radio station, they would do shows like they did a show with like Fugazi, with Bikini Kill. I saw Nation of Ulysses like when I was a freshman, and the radio station put it on. I mean, they were doing some pretty killer stuff, like, you know, for a college back in the day. And then, you know, I sort of got involved doing the shows because I just wanted to see bands that I liked, you know, playing. And then I found out it was really easy to like set up my own organization, book a space, and like they had a sound system I could use, and just it took off from there. But then, you know, probably nowadays they still do some shows, but it would be more just like general, like kind of college, like show kind of band.
Did you actually personally make money from those shows back then?
No, I never did. Like some of the shows, they would make a ton of money. So like I did like the Mortal Farewell show, and I did like a big Prayer Chain show. And I remember, and what I would do is like if we made a lot of money, I would generally like give more to the bands. But I mean, you guys lived through this era, and like, you know, 1994, 5, and 6, right? I'm making a ton of phone calls from my like, you know, college dorm room phone, so I'm having like $200 or $300 phone bills, like setting this stuff up, you know. So like it wasn't super cheap to kind of do the stuff. So there were some expenses. So I didn't really make money, but I didn't really lose money in the end. Yeah. And actually, like when I went to graduate, that spring, I got a scholarship from the university, and with that, the $3,000 that I got, that went to pressing Live at Drexel Volume 1 and 2, 7 inches, and then another White Trash Incorporated 7 inch. So thank you, Mr. Scholarship people.
Making dreams come true.
Exactly.
92.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for that, nothing would happen. And then just to kind of go down the memory lane a little bit, like you guys were definitely on the Live at Drexel 7-inch, like with one of the songs.
Volume 1, it was us, Goaty Hook, and that was it. Just us and Goaty Hook. We had
wasn't like 274 on one of them?
Yeah, but 274 was on Volume 2. It was the blue one. The yellow one was Volume 1. That was us and Goaty Hook. I don't remember Goaty Hook's song, but our song was...
I think it was Shrinky Dinks.
Is that what it was on theirs? Yeah, and our song was Drexel U. Yeah, our song was Drexel U. That's right. That makes sense. Duh, hello. So, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I have to dig that out. I thought there were like other bands, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I felt like Volume 1 had 3 bands.
I'm gonna go get it. I'll check. Hold on.
Oh yeah, bring that thing out. We need proof.
Let Keithy get it. Keithy, where is it?
I never got that one. I've never seen it anywhere.
Ooh.
So that's
so disappointing. Disappointing.
Hey.
Huntington's merchandise I don't own.
Let's see.
Now, if somebody here wants to sell me their copy, I'll gladly pay $20 for it.
I might still have some in the basement. Remind me offline after this.
You know what? I think I might have given mine to my brother. I have got Volume... Oh, no. So we were Volume 2. Volume 1 was the blue one. Volume 1 was 274 and the Gilroys. And also the Julies and Mac the Coffee Man. So, not really happening. Volume 1 wasn't really happening. But Volume 2 was a punk rock explosion.
Oh, wait.
It had
I'm reading a Decapolis article where I talk about what's on the 7 inches. Hold on. I love the internet.
Yeah, I gave mine to my brother. I don't have it anymore.
Hey, Cliff, do you have this?
Oh, Huntington's,
Unopened.
Goaty Hook, and Lukewarm. They were like a punk band from Ohio that kind of sounded a little like Nirvana, maybe.
Yeah, they weren't very good. I remember them. Hence the name Lukewarm.
Well, the guy's name was Luke.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you gonna do?
Nothing. But then again, our name was Cricket, and we suck. Well, no, back then, were we called Cricket on that 7-inch?
No, you were Huntington's on the 7-inch. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
I think you had changed by then.
You're Cricket
I
on.
have a quick question for everybody in the room. Does someone have dogs barking? No one else hears. No one else hears dogs barking.
But I don't own a dog, so.
Well, you're good then. You're in the clear. Well, I think you're in the clear.
I heard
just
it.
It's like rough.
You, man, because it was only up when you were doing it. When you were talking.
So somebody named Gina's here. I don't know who that is, but
That's Tom. He logged in under a different account. He had dumped.
Influenced by Josh Blackway, I see.
Right.
Hey, Keith. Also, earlier today, in addition to the cassette tapes, Scott had sent over some pretty interesting videotapes that might need to make it into the old collection there.
Can we see them?
You need to talk.
So this is a live Huntington's 274 Super VHS. Here we have Goaty Hook, Black Cherry Soda, and Cricket. 11th of November, 1995.
Okay, so we would have been by then. Oh, you know what? I think that's that real cool show where it was like really packed out.
Here is the Huntingtons and a Few Loose Screws for a Few Loose Screws CD release party.
Okay, I'm sure we blew them away.
Probably.
Oh,
and then here's one. I'm not sure I really remember this. This is Huntington's Value Pack and 90-pound wuss.
Value
Pack.
I will gladly.
Keith just had a heart attack, a mild heart attack.
I would love to get some decent footage of Value Pack because I only recorded like 2 songs of them the whole career. So.
That's about all they played live.
Okay.
You need to get off the show and get back to work, man. You got a lot of stuff.
To tell you the truth, I was actually editing for like 4 hours before it started.
Nice.
Yeah, well, breaks over. Get back.
So
to
when you're editing, are you cleaning up all the little the little parts at the bottom and top of the screen that are obviously crappy VHS? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, definitely. You just put a zoom in on it of about 104%, and it takes all that out. But a lot of people don't do that.
We should talk. I've got some Roadside Monument and Starflyer live video that I wanted to like clean up.
What year are we talking as far as Roadside Monument?
96 they played at Drexel, and then 97 they played in my apartment.
I actually have the live audio of the Drexel.
Both of those, that would have been 3-piece. They never did anything other than their standard 3-piece. They broke up because the one guy went to Japuza and fell in love with some girl or something.
No, they had a 4-piece before that, but then all those guys left, and it was Doug, and then he got Jonathan and Matt, and then Jonathan went to Japuza to be with that one girl.
Yeah.
But
and then she dropped him. And she broke up with him and broke his heart. Boom.
And then he started Unwed Sailor. So.
What?
And then he started Unwed Sailor.
Well, actually, he had Unwed Sailor going while he was doing Roadside Monument.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
They overlap.
Once again, the most informative show of all time.
I know stuff.
The public wants to know, when is Burnt Toast Vinyl going to issue Get Lost in Plastic Surgery on vinyl? Spare no expense.
Yeah, maybe we should do it just because we don't care about copyright. I love it.
Exactly. Who cares?
Cliff and I need to do some talking, and Mike.
Yeah, dude.
Get this stuff out, and Josh.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, those don't even need. Well, man, Plastic Surgery needs remastering. That sounds terrible. But Get Lost doesn't need anything. It sounds great.
We could just like come up with a fake record label name and just do this thing out.
Because I would definitely get 2 copies, one to listen and one to frame, because those cover arts are just epic and yeah.
We could be really annoying and just Kickstarter it.
Yeah. No.
Free Public Art is a good label name.
Mike and I are kind of against that whole thing.
Right. So that's all you got to do though. As long as like someone in the band puts out their own record label, they can release it again. It's kind of what you said.
Well, I mean, I think that was the agreement with Tooth and Nail. Tooth and Nail was actually pretty cool about making vinyl. They weren't always cool about everything, but they were definitely very cool about vinyl.
They never charged you. They never made you pay them anything for High School Rock, right? They just let you do it for Cool Factor, right?
Yeah, well, if I remember right, so the High School Rock story is like they were going to press that on vinyl, and then they decided not to do it, and they'd already cut the plates at like Bernie Grundman or something, or Golden Mastering, like really nice masters.
Right.
And so they let us have, or let me have them for free, and then we did like a run of like 300 or 500 LPs.
Wow.
So they were really cool about that, but I think that was really kind of a favor to them too, because I think maybe they had promised you LPs.
Maybe, I don't know. I just remember that when we got our copies and we couldn't sell them at all. No one cared about them at all. And then we played this show. We played this show down in Texas. Well, I know, but we played this show down in Texas, and we get there, and it's like so far down in Texas at the time to us. We're talking almost Mexico now. I'm very used to it. It's far and McAllen area, of Texas, HEB headquarters down there. And we had never heard of HEB. We roll into this grocery store where this lady meets us, and we just keep saying, Heb, what the heck is Heb? It's HEB. And because we're from up here, we've never been down there. We go down there, we play. This lady finally shows up, and she picks us up, and she's like this Mexican lady, and we didn't know what to think. We're just like, what the heck? So she takes us over there, and we played like right by the border, and there was like, and we get there, and it's like, what? We're gonna be playing here, and it just looks like it's gonna be so lame, And it ended up being this fantastic show where these people were super into it. And not only that, when the show was over, they mobbed our table and bought every one of our vinyls. We sold out of them all, and we had these all tour and couldn't sell them worth jack except to Keithy. And then that's it, and these people bought all of them. And it was like the most merchandise we ever sold at a show ever. We were just like, oh my gosh, it was like so cool to us at the time.
It was also the night that we all got our first tattoos.
That's right. That's right.
Josh Zimmer got the Rider from the Crypt. I got my Angel. You got that thing. And it was the guy came up to our table and he was like, hey, I'm a tattoo artist. Do you guys want free tattoos? And we're like, yeah, sure. We'll go get free tattoos tonight. Yeah.
And luckily for us, it was a very clean place.
Yeah. Now that this tattoo is, 1999, 2000, whatever that was.
It would have been probably, 99 probably. It was right after you had just joined the band.
It was the summer of 2000.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right, I'll trust you, man.
Brendan Savage's tour. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was that tour.
It was?
Yeah, it was.
I don't remember Frankie
I
Savage
saw you
playing that
guys,
show that I'm
you had
talking
the tattoo,
It was.
and I saw you guys like 4 weeks later, and you had the tattoos, and you were going on about how cool it was. So.
Yeah, but that might have actually been a different show. That might not have been the show that I'm talking about that we played that was almost Mexico, and all these people had come over the border, and they all mobbed their table and bought all of them. Mike, you remember this?
Yeah, I remember being that far south. It was because at that point I had never been out of the country either, and it was very interesting. Yeah. I think the whole first tattoo thing, I wasn't there for that. I think that was a different time.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. There's Brownsville, and then there's San Benito. It's 2 different shows.
It was San
I think
Benito
we're
that we
talking
played.
San Benito was the one you're talking about. Brownsville.
Right. The Brownsville show was the one where that girl got on the stage and she was all like, with us, and we were all like, "What the heck?" That was that one. And people were getting all drunk while we were playing. Yeah, that was like the first time that had ever happened.
And on the night that we sold all the merch down there, we were probably super excited because that meant we could go to Denny's and not order like the cheapest thing on the menu. Like we could actually get like a burger instead of just like the fries or something. Yeah.
And I could get my breakfast meal with hash browns. That's it.
Yeah, you could add hash browns to it and it wouldn't
Mix
break.
them all up.
Yeah.
Right on. And I think CJ was in the band then. So
It's incredible to think back to when we did that and we basically ate for an entire day on $10.
Yep. And
Like,
had plenty left over. Like
well, sometimes, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I did. I would get $10 and that would go because back then we were making $100 a week each, and I would take the $10 and I would eat as little. I would spend as little as possible, so that was like extra money for me every week.
Yeah.
For me to buy the new Donna's album with or something,
Yeah, and it was funny because like they're not here to defend themselves, but Josh can back me up on this. Towards the end there, we kept the $10 thing, as ridiculous as it was, and we'd get to the end of the night and we'd be at Denny's at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the bill would come, and Andy and Rick would go, "Oh, I got like 70 cents, man. I got like 70 cents," and that's all they would have left. And we're sitting here at the table, and we've got a $26 tab for all of us, which was really nothing. But oh man, all I got 70 cents left. Every
they knew what they had. They knew what they had when they ordered that meal.
Yeah.
Order whatever, and then figure it. They would just, that sucked because I would like save my money and like try and save money to have an awesome meal at the end of the night. Because that's the healthy thing to do is eat a lot of food at the end of the night. Those guys, like Rick would always get, supersize it, and then just like he's out of money, but it didn't matter, he would still order a giant meal. Hey, Jeremy joined us.
Hey guys.
What's up, man?
Oh.
That's Cliff and I's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I thought I'd contribute highly to the discussion.
Yeah, man.
I totally got a story about Andy with not realizing how much stuff cost.
Go ahead.
for it.
The day that he tried out for the Huntingtons at Rick's parents' basement, after that tryout, because my brother was taking pictures, we went to Burger King, and he bought whatever number he got, number 3, and literally did not have enough money because he forgot that Pennsylvania had 6% sales tax.
Oh, he's from Delaware. That's why.
He was from Delaware, so he literally had it figured out to the penny how much he needed for that number 3 meal.
Yes, well that continued on because literally by the end of the night on tour, everybody would get the sampler or whatever at Denny's. It was a 3 o'clock in the morning meal, and nobody ever had enough money to pay for it. It was the same thing every night.
That did not happen when I was in the band. When I was in the band, we had these 2 other jokers playing with us, one of which will be here in 2 weeks, and they complained all the time about not getting the same amount of money as me and Josh. Me and Josh had been in the band for a number of years, and so these other 2 guys, they got half as much a week as what me and Josh did. And they were like, Always, constantly.
No, like that's not true at all, man. I joined after Josh Zimmer actually. He was before me.
True.
Yeah. Look, you there?
He dropped out. He just couldn't take it.
Like, wait a second.
He froze in disbelief.
I know what he's saying, but it's not exactly. I don't. You know. Anyway, how's everybody else doing?
About him. He's not here to defend himself.
He is still, I'm sure, still talking.
So everyone else sees his little icon as being frozen in this state of disbelief, right?
That happens when I correct people.
That's funny.
All right, so let's go down the line here, and I know the Google Hangouts is so terrible with this, but in my view, Chris is on the far left. So what's going on, Chris? How you doing?
Chris, me?
Yeah, you.
Hey, everything's good. How are you?
Good.
I feel like we haven't talked in like a week.
Nah, that's not true. It's probably been about 45 minutes, with texts anyway.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, I remember taking you guys out the first time we played with you guys. I think Robbie and I spent, our tab was about over 200. I want to say it was close to probably 200, if not more than that, at IHOP. And I remember you guys ate so much that Rick ended up eating everybody's leftovers because nobody could finish their meals. And you know what was messed up about that is that we were probably 45 minutes away from, I think you and Jen were living at her dad's house at the time, right?
It was probably a relative of some sort, yeah.
This was 2002, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and we ended up putting you guys up in 2 hotel rooms and buying you guys all this, glorious IHOP.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot for participating. Next,
You're 45 minutes away from your freaking house. Definitely broke our banks. I mean, that was like $1,000 bill when all was said and done. Playing in Waldorf, Maryland. I'm not bitter about it or anything.
But now you're playing in the band, though, so it all comes back full circle. And now you have the privilege of playing in the band.
Well, I don't get any of the perks that we gave them last time we played together. So.
Yeah, you're the new guy, so you only get 5%.
Yeah, no, I already got my guarantee, so I'm good. I'm good to go. I kind of feel like I should end up paying Mike and Cliff or something. Should I give you guys like a percentage of my the money that I got?
We'll talk about that offline.
Afterwards.
Why would you give them a percentage but not give me a percentage?
Well, I guess you're responsible for this whole thing, aren't you?
So just all to me.
I'll buy you a beer on Sunday.
Can we just get a new drummer?
Does anyone in the room play drums? Anyone?
I'll buy you a beer. Hey, Josh, is Peppers closed?
I don't know, man.
I heard it was. I heard a nasty rumor.
That's something for off camera, man.
How is that something for off camera?
Because, man, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're closing, maybe they're not, maybe they don't want it to be public on YouTube about it.
Okay.
It's a cool place, but,
It's a cool place that, 10 people go to a day. I don't think,
Right.
The last half hour of this segment is brought to you by Peppers, apparently.
Peppers is actually a punk rock bar on the boardwalk in Ocean City that a few punk rock people know about and go there. And even me, I'm very much into punk rock. I hardly ever go there. I'm there once a year maybe. So the place is struggling. It's not really a punk rock town out here.
I want to go there on Sunday though.
We can try if they're open. I don't know if they are though.
We'll go check it out.
All right, so going down the line.
Yeah, well, next on mine is Jared, and he's muted, so he would have to unmute in order to speak.
There we go.
There he is.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
Well, yeah. Not much. Missed a handful of them, but I'm back. But I caught a couple of the replays and stuff. Scott, thank you for what you said tonight. It was good to hear and learn about more of the vinyl scene, stuff like that. So appreciate that. My wife's out of town, so I'm watching my 2 girls for 10 days straight. So that's what I'm doing here.
Nice.
Trying to get some sanity at night. I'm after to go to sleep, so that's what I'm up to.
Are you on? I'm assuming that they're now on summer break. They're out of school.
Yeah, they're young, 5 and 2, so they're just daycare during the day while I work, and then do the routine and get them to sleep. So.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. Cool. Keith, gonna go back to work now? You're gonna go back to the video editing? You can leave anytime. We won't be offended.
Me and Travis were TJ. We were talking on a Facebook. Well, I sent you a message. Anyway, so I'm editing some video right from the European tour, and I noticed that there's a couple of songs I'd never heard Huntington's play before. It was High School Troublemaker and Long Haul, which they both went on to be reaction songs. So did you gracefully give those to Cliff, or did he? What was the situation with that? How did Cliff wind up with those songs and not them be Huntington songs?
Can I give my opinion on that?
Yeah, because I don't really have a good memory of that.
I have a good memory of it. Because at the time, and I'm over it now. Hey, Jeremy's back.
There we go. Yeah, you can see me. Yeah, you can see me.
Jeremy, we'll come right back to you. But my experience with that whole situation was I was so pissed that those songs were on the reaction thing, because they were two awesome songs. I really was looking forward to recording next time we went to record, and at the time I just felt like he stole them, and here he is. I felt like he swiped these songs without asking or telling, and I didn't think that I don't know who wrote them or whatever, but I was just pissed, and it was also during a time that we weren't really all getting along. We were all, it was, Cliff was not, we just weren't all tight and friends back then, because he quit the band and stuff, and so I don't know. That was my Cliff. Are you back? No.
I am. We have a storm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not showing video. I don't know why.
Good picture.
It's all good.
Yeah, what do I need to get the picture showing?
There's an icon.
What?
There's an icon with a camera that you have to click. Or not. Yeah, whatever.
It's okay. If it doesn't work, it's fine. We can still hear you.
So what's your take on the High School Troublemaker thing? Was that did you write that song or in the Long Haul?
Oh yeah. That's High School Troublemaker is Long Haul. That's right. I brought the music to the band. We all really liked it. That was a song that when we originally were playing it in band practice, we thought it would be really funny to say mother effer all the time in it, so that's what we were doing. We were singing, cause I'm an a-hole mother effer, a-hole mother effer, a-hole mother effer. That's what the original lyrics were, but all real swear words. But, we were just clowning around in our house, having fun with practice. That's how we did it. And then, when it came time to actually play it live, Mike was like, yeah, I probably don't want to sing that. Let's see, High School Troublemaker. So then that's where that became. So that he never wrote lyrics for it. When we were in Europe and we were singing the song, playing the song live, he didn't have any lyrics for it other than that. Because I'm a high school troublemaker, or she's or whatever, high school troublemaker, and there was no lyrics in the verse. It was just like, that's what he was doing, even in Europe when we were playing it every night. So that's what we're doing. And so then when I left the band and I started this new band, that one and the other song, Long Haul, which actually did have lyrics to it that Mike sang very well, but it was all lyrics and stuff that I wrote. I was loving that kind of material. I wanted to get more to that kind of stuff, and Mike and the guys were going more in the pop direction, which was fine. Just to interpersonal stuff, somebody had to go, and I chose to go, and I got some guys to do the band with me, and the band was going to be based on those two songs, and then write other cool songs with it. And so then I went to the original one and said, okay, what can I write that sounds like a-hole mother effer, but doesn't say a-hole mother effer? And so that's where, hey, who did I lose? Okay, oh, yeah, I know what's going on. So then that's where.
Another trucker.
Right. The Mother Trucker lyrics came from. Yeah, exactly. So, and that was it. So, but we were just talking before I got cut off from the storm. We were talking about Danny and the guys and how much we were making, right?
Yeah.
You were saying, Josh, what were you saying?
No, I was saying no. It's not. Danny was in the band before I was, so.
Oh, okay. So then that means him, you, and Matt were new to the band. So you guys were making $100 a week, and I was making $200 a week. And you didn't complain about that. You understood that. That was fine. But they banded together. You and I banded together. They were always complaining all the time about the money. I didn't want to. What I should have done is I should have said, okay, I'll just make $100 a week like everyone else. But I was selfish and prideful, and I didn't want to give that up. And so in my way of thinking, I said, hey, without telling Mike Holt, who's actually booking all this and managing the money, I'll just have us all make $200 a week. And we'll just lie about how much gas we're putting in the van. So that's what we did. And I did that to try to make them happy, so that they would be happy. But it didn't work. They still had just as many complaints, and we still had all the same interpersonal turmoil, so I learned something from that. Mike, I know that you already know about all this, so don't act shocked. So, you know.
No, I forgot about that.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. There was nothing ever good came of paying ourselves with the band. Nothing ever good came of that. So
we should have just done it for free.
I've got the worst payment story ever. We paid up in New London, Connecticut, I think, and we got paid. We got paid in a case of scissorp, if you guys know what that is. they got a big delivery of scissorp. And
what is it?
It's like it tastes like cough syrup. It's liquor, but it's a rapper from the early 2000s kind of branded it, and it didn't sell at all. And the manager or the owner of the bar is like, "Oh, we didn't make enough to pay you guys out. We got to pay overhead, whatever. But we got this case of scissorp, and we can pay you in that." And we were like, okay. So we got paid in scissorp in New London, Connecticut, playing the L&G club. So
you got Leahy drunk that night.
Oh yeah, I was the liquor that night for sure. And but did you guys ever do the grocery store trick where you guys would go in and grab a bag of chips and just walk around the store and eat the chips and then stick them back on the shelf and leave?
We were good Christian boys. We didn't do that crap. We stole from the promoters. We didn't steal from the stores.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we'd always go to big chains and do it, like Giant and Safeway and Shoppers Food Warehouse and stuff like that.
No, we never
did it at mom and pop shops. We would never do that.
We never did it. We were more than the fact that we were Christian boys. We were just white boys that would have been Mike was the only city boy, and the rest of us were country boys, and we would have been way too scared to do something like that.
No, there's actually a lot of truth. Like this entire thing is a lot of truth in the No Pool Party song embedded in it about how we would use phones to call home. There were bags of chips that maybe. It's funny you mentioned a bag of chips because I think there might even be a lyric in that song about a bag of chips.
Downlaters and chips.
Downlaters.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff embedded into that song about how
that was a really sucky show we played somewhere. I think it was in Oklahoma or somewhere, and it was supposed to be this big, awesome thing, and it
not
was
a made-up song at all.
No, it was going to be this great thing. It was like the second show with Craig's brother on that tour, and it was just going to be awesome. And Adam was in the band, and it was built up to us. This is going to be this great thing. There's going to be all these kids there. We get there, not a lot of kids. We basically the stage was like a stairs, so we had to set up and play on stairs. So we're like trying to play on stairs. You understand how difficult that is. It's not fun. You can't put on a show, certainly not a Huntington show.
And it was absolutely booked as come out and watch this rock show. Afterwards, there will be a pool party. This is not a made-up thing. Like, they booked it as come watch these bands play. afterwards there'll be a pool party. And it was like, it became apparently obvious that when no one showed up for the show and it was super lame and we were playing on steps, that there would be no pool party. That is not a made up song. There's like
it's real. And it was Adam that thought up that title. Hey, we should write a song called "No Pool Party Tonight."
And it happened that night. It had because I don't think they put us up. Chris, thank you for putting.
We
us
had to
up
all sleep on the floor.
We had to sleep. We slept in the venue that night, and I think the majority of that song was written that exact night.
Because we were just like, screw this, and we like ate all the. This was like the youth group room, right? And we ate all their concessions.
All the
every one of them. We took everything they had because youth groups they always have the church buys some food, and the kids are supposed to like pay for it, and that helps. Blah blah. That pays by.
We can rationalize it any way we want. It was
all of it.
It was a really bad thing to do. Looking back,
that time?
It was a bad thing to do.
Bro, we did that kind of stuff a lot. Do you remember that time we played in the South somewhere? I think we were on tour with Squad 5-0, and we played somewhere down there. And we it was another sucky show, and so we were mad, and we tore up the place. We the pastor's office. We moved all of the desk and everything. Moved everything around. Ooh, this will be fun. We moved everything around. We unplugged everything. We busted holes in the wall in the hall. We took microphone stands and busted holes in the wall we're the Who or Guns N' Roses or something.
Cliff, you were on fire, dude. You were just on fire tonight. These are things that I would not say, but you're saying them.
But you remember this, right?
Yeah, we did all that. So in a sense, in a really weird sense, we were a punk rock band.
Yes, we were. We paid our dues.
We paid our dues by saying, "Hey, you put on a sucky show, so we're gonna rearrange." We did rearrange a dude's office.
Dude, we did, man. We rearranged it everywhere, man. And I remember, back then, we'd always want to go back to someone's house afterwards so we could get on the internet, on AOL. Everything was about AOL back then, right? So we're on AOL, and there's little chat rooms that are all secret AOL chat rooms, and we're in there chatting about the Huntingtons and trying to get people to come like us and stuff. And my brother is just lives in there, and so he's always in there. Anytime we go on there, he's in there. And so we're there, and we're it would always be the thing to be able to go back to someone's house, or maybe the youth group. Whoever, because we played a lot of church shows back then. Maybe the youth group would have a computer we could use, and we could see what was going on, And it was always a big bummer when it was password protected, and we would always try to remember that it would be password protected. We'd always try to figure it out. We could never figure it out.
You're Jesus, God, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, no. I thought you were taking the Lord's name in vain.
John 3:16.
Right.
So Chris, when we take you up, when we live 40 minutes away, and we take you up on an offer to sleep in a nice hotel and have a nice meal, these are examples of the reasons why we would take you up on those things. Because so many times it was horrible.
Yeah. But it was all in a contract that we signed.
Yeah,
so we kind of felt we were they're gonna sue us if we don't put them up.
Or we'll rearrange your room and put on the wall.
Yeah.
And eat all your chips.
I mean, it's funny, looking back at it now, but at the time, we're we basically took both of our paychecks for 2 weeks, and we're put them together, and we're all right, this will cover everything. And I still don't think we paid the full guarantee. I think we still owe you guys $30. So.
All right, cool. You can
And
pay
we were
that.
we were really nervous about that.
I get $10 from your payment, and Mike gets $10 from your payment, and Josh gets $10 from your payment from the show on August 30th. Except I shouldn't get anything. I'll send my $3 to Rick because I wasn't even in the band whenever they're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, you quit 6 or 7 months before, maybe a year before. So
yeah,
we'll figure out the details of how much you owe us later.
Okay, we'll talk off air.
We'll send you an invoice.
Okay.
I got to think that in that span of time, there's some interest that has kind of accrued as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Hey, so we're at 2 hours here, so Mike, what do you want to do? Just keep going, and just have this be a forever long show, like always, or?
Yeah, because it's fun, and
Hey,
we have a
No one asked
we
me
have a
what's
full
going
run.
on.
I will say, every single week we get another message from somebody else on Facebook that says, can you please make one of the episodes dedicated to talking only about the Huntingtons, about this story or that story, and go through this or that. If you actually watch all the episodes, some of that stuff is in pretty much every episode. So eventually we'll get to it all, and we don't have to do that. But, next week it's probably going to be more of that since Josh Zimmer is going to be playing with us. Going to be here playing with us. So.
Yeah, I mean, if he's on, let's spend the next 2 weeks to grab Brad, Chad, Adam, and let's
Chad will be unrecognizable. Chad will just be like going, dude, the whole time.
He'll be there. He'll be there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it should be like one. If you have everyone on at one time, then it's like. Then you
Right, it'll be like, Cornerstone at the Ramones show when there's like 15 million people on stage and no one even makes sense of anything.
I don't know. Let's go down the line. I want to know what's up with Jeremy.
Me? No.
Yeah, man.
Everything.
You're down in Texas State.
After Texas over here.
Who are you dating now? Are you dating anybody?
Everyone.
You're dating
The
everyone?
girls that look at me and say hi, they're technically my girlfriend.
Cool.
Ever since I've known this kid, ever since I started dating his sister and eventually marrying her, he's always had hot girlfriends.
Look at his hair, though.
Taking
He's
a
got
break
awesome
from
hair.
dating life.
He's a good-looking dude, yeah.
I date him.
That surfer picture, that was taken at my beach here, I believe. Right?
We
Huh?
lost him. Where is he?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see you.
Oh,
That
you don't
surfboard,
see me.
that picture of you with the board, that was here in Ocean City, right?
Yes, it was. It's like the only cool surfing picture I have. But what is
Hey.
going on? Let's see, school.
I should go get Christy so she can say hi to you. Let me see if she's still awake. Hold on. She doesn't get to see you anymore. That'll be good. Hold on.
While he's doing that, I see you have a Texas State banner behind you.
Oh,
Is
yes,
that where
yes,
are you going to college there?
Yes.
What are you studying at Texas State?
Computer science, but I'm switching to computer information systems, which will be next semester.
You should switch to vinyl pressing and join Scott Hatch in his efforts to boot Jack White out of the vinyl supremacy there that he has going on.
For $1 million a year, I will, but only $1 million.
For $1 million a year. Well, good luck with that, bud.
That's a high bargain.
$200 a week. How about that?
$200 a week. You're new though. You only get $100 a week. I mean,
Okay.
you keep up with the conversation.
I'll trick everybody, make them think.
And $10 a day for food, and you're good to go.
Food's overrated.
Hey, did you ever finish working on that DeLorean project? Did you do something?
Yeah, we did an instructional video for DeLorean.
was
Showed
like
how to put on the struts.
It's a current video for the old DeLorean cars.
So they're the CEO. He's the now CEO. He bought DeLorean, and their factory in Houston. They have like all these DeLorean parts, and they build like 10 DeLoreans a year, like new, I guess.
It's this company in Houston that just finds all the old DeLorean parts, and they're rebuilding a few cars a year.
Yeah, well, they don't find them. They like bought the factory. The CEO bought DeLorean. So.
And
Well, Jerry Seinfeld he's probably watched that video because he loves DeLoreans.
Oh wow, maybe he's commented. I should check that out.
I watch his show all the time, riding in cars with comedians, and on one of them he's in a DeLorean and he knows a ton about cars. So yeah.
Can you do a Seinfeld impression?
No, you can do a Seinfeld impression. I can't do any
I
impressions.
can't do impressions.
I can't either.
Okay.
I can barely do myself.
Is Christy taking a poop or what?
She's asleep.
Oh.
Sorry, bud. You're just not worth staying up for.
I know.
Hey, Josh, are you going to buy that guitar or what?
No.
Why?
I'll offer them $900 for it.
Well, they will say no. Why would they? Why would somebody take $600 less than what they're selling it for?
That's what I would give them for it.
But
What it's worth.
that's not what it's worth.
What it's worth to me.
Well, then you don't want a Gibson.
No, I want a Gibson, but I just want a really good deal on it.
You're not. It's not
Cliff.
going to happen. What?
I got my Sovtech Make 100H. It's for sale right now.
Well, I don't really need an amp. I'll just borrow one for the one show a year I play. I bought a guitar. I bought a guitar. That was a big deal.
Well,
But the 100H is a good one. That's the one we used. That's what we used when we did. That's the amp we used for Get Lost.
Okay.
You know how good of an amp it is. It sounds great, doesn't it?
Oh, it's amazing, but I don't need it anymore. So.
I'll give you $25 for it. I'll give you a Josh. I'll give you a Josh Blackway offer.
Get the hell out of
I'll
here.
give you a Josh Blackway offer. I'll pay you $25 for it.
Mm-mm.
All right,
$25
$50.
and a guest spot on the Absolute Awesome Show episode 11.
Yes.
I will give it away. I'll give it to Andy for free before I sell it for $25.
Well, then give it to me for free. I'm a real Huntington.
Okay. If you're too busy strumming to your 30 swing.
Hey, where do you hear it? When you hear the record, you'll be like, man, that's good stuff.
All right.
Is that gonna be on Burnt Toast?
It might be. It's going to be on Steinhouse Records, and then if I can find somebody that wants to make some product of it, then I'll do that. But it's not like I'm going to tour or anything, so nothing. You know, 5 people will buy it, but it'll be cool for those 5 people.
Yeah. We'll talk. We'll talk.
All right.
I know the one song is capable of being on a movie soundtrack. If there's ever a new like Western that comes out or something.
The instrumental.
Yeah. That would be a good movie soundtrack.
Or Brokeback Mountain 2.
No. But I will say, the songs are all really good. It's really just going to be about whether or not I'm going to be able to sound good, which is always a challenge. But I'm going to rise to the challenge. Hey, look, that's me.
What are you looking at? What are y'all looking at over there?
That's right.
It's Cliff with Dialogue.
Yep. That was me when I was young. Well, I was old then too, actually.
When you were 5 years younger.
I've always been old.
I was gonna say I don't think I ever knew you when you were young.
No, you did, but you were 12, and you were 12 at camp, and I was 17, following around Melinda Clendaniel, and you know, she was like, "You ain't gonna get any of this," and I said, "I know, but I'm still gonna follow you around anyway," and then I married a woman that was twice as good looking as her, so it was all okay.
Yeah,
She's actually still really beautiful, so.
Oddly, it's funny. The first time you ever said, "Hey, I'm gonna come up and record a bunch of songs," on the task.
Baby, I love you so.
Yes.
And your dad made you play it for me.
Well, that was at a point too when I had this drum machine that was just 4 pads, and you actually had to hit them with like drumsticks.
No, with your fingers.
No. This was like, well, I guess you could have tapped them with your fingers.
Oh, you mean your? Oh, I remember that. That's right.
Right.
I forgot the upgraded one you got later on.
Right. No, you came up and you're like, you're gonna spend a whole week there, and we're gonna record on this Tascam, 2-input 4-track, all your songs, and I got this little drum machine that we're gonna lay down these drums on. And you show up, and the day that we start recording, it breaks. Like the little drum pad thing broke, and we had to go to the store and buy a little Boss DR 100 or something that
with
has
the little buttons.
Yes, the little buttons. Yes.
And I made you make a different beat for every song.
A different beat for every single song.
That was what was going to make it happen.
That was what was going to make it happen. Yeah. So, yes, it's weird. Like that is a very vivid memory. That whole at the old row home in the city, and all that. Very funny.
Yep. And then your mom told me about. That was where your mom told me about you a few years ago or whatever. Well, you drove that white car then. Your mom, you know, you had that white car and we would drive around in that. But like several years earlier is when you got accosted by the black dudes for your shoes or for your hat, whatever.
Why is it got to be about race, Cliff? It's always got to be about race.
He was living in the city, man. What do you expect it to be?
No, you don't have to bring that B word into it, dude.
B?
You said
black,
dude. Yeah, come on,
What's wrong with black? They know they're black.
No.
They don't know they're black?
No.
I'm pretty sure they know they're black.
Listen, man, you're not allowed to say that anymore these
You're
days.
like Cliff at P.O. Box 1234.
No, you're not allowed to say that kind of stuff anymore. It's like illegal or something.
You can't say black?
Yeah. It's like.
I'm white, they're black. What the heck are you talking about?
All right, listen.
You're not making any sense. I'm not white either. I'm pasty peach. You're tan peach. Orville there is orange.
Scott's frozen. That's all I know.
I'm frozen.
No,
He's not frozen.
Oh, there he
He's
goes.
still there.
He just doesn't move a
goes.
lot.
There he goes.
He
I'll
just
dance.
doesn't move a lot.
All right, so to move things along here.
Keep this under control, Mike.
I'm trying. We're 2 hours and 15 minutes in here. I gotta try to keep my head into it. Okay, so the only person who hasn't really said a word is TJ, and so I've got one question for TJ.
He's got to unmute himself. There he
He
goes.
can unmute himself to answer this question, and if he answers it incorrectly, then he can feel free to mute himself again. But, TJ, in the last 2 weeks, have you changed your mind about Back to the Future 2 being better than Back to the Future 1? And if you have not, you can answer and then mute yourself.
Oh, that's terrible.
Can I give you some background on how I feel about it, though? let me try to soften this answer a little bit. I would think that the Back to the Future 2 is not superior to 1. It's just a movie that is, in a way, it's just better than 1.
In no ways is it better than 1. The dialogue is terrible.
Wait a second.
The acting is terrible.
Did you just make...
How can the acting be terrible? It's the same people.
But it's just not as good anyway.
Don't you have some video to edit? Hush up. All right, so... DJ, did you say that you don't think it's superior to 1, but it's better than 1?
Yeah, I mean, they complement each other well. I would never say that 1 is a terrible movie compared to 2. I just prefer 2 over 1.
1 is like 1,000,000 times better than 2. Kristen couldn't even get past the first 50 minutes of 2.
But 1 doesn't have flying crap in it.
Crap.
It most certainly does.
Well, see, you have I guess if you have 1985, you have 2015, you have the alternate 1985, and you have them going back to 1955 when they were already there.
But it's not as good.
Huh?
It's not like the whole movie is not delivered anywhere near even close to being as good. Like not even in. It's like Dumber and Dumberer compared to Dumb and Dumber. Do you understand?
I wouldn't put it in that with that.
Okay, it's like Jurassic Park 2 compared to Jurassic Park. No, it's like Jurassic Park 3 compared to Jurassic Park.
No.
No. It's like Jurassic. Which is the one?
No.
Wait, which is the one? Is it Jurassic Park 2 where they actually come into Los Angeles and all that crap?
Yeah. It's US
Okay. Yeah, it's like Jurassic Park 2 compared to Jurassic Park 1.
No, I don't.
Terrible. Made by the same people.
I don't think it's the same as that level, but I do think it. I mean, only because Jurassic Park 2 was terrible, and Back to the Future 2 is not terrible, but
See, thank you. I know. It's just
Sounds like an argument based on opinion.
Let me just put it to you this way.
No, it's not opinion. It's not about
No.
opinion.
Oh, it's fact.
TJ is clearly wrong.
Correct. He's clearly wrong because Back to the Future is still on TV every year. Back to the Future 2 is not on TV ever.
it's followed up by they show all three of them all the time.
Where? In
usually-
Omaha.
they're usually so,
On AMC. I'm sure on USA. I don't know.
It's on right after the Golden Girls rerun. It's
Right.
on every night
Fantasy
after Golden
Island.
Girls, it's on every
At like
night
2
in
a.m.?
Omaha.
Well, if it makes TJ feel any better, my wife, she works at the a movie theater. She just got a promotion, so they had to change her name badge. And on their name badges, they have to put down their favorite movie. And she put down Back to the Future 2 on her new name badge. So
Testify, Tori, testify. Thank you.
yeah, exactly.
So that's
I will say, the only thing great about TJ being here is the fact that every time we went to Omaha, he was there. And it was really cool. We would play a show, and it's like, and it was just like you were like one of a couple people that every time we played there, you were there. That's how we got to know you, because it was just like, it was cool. So like on that sense, it's very cool that you're here. It was very nice, wonderful to stay in your house. But your opinion on this movie is wrecking it all. Wrecking it all.
Well, I suppose I need to go back and mute myself now.
Okay. You do that, Mr. Griswold. Doesn't he look like Clark Griswold a little bit? Does anybody agree?
I don't know.
You don't see it?
Not really.
The glasses, the haircut is very similar. His face, his face is very much like Chevy Chase's. His actual, like, his jaw and cheeks.
I see Rocky from Christmas Story.
I think I look like Mike, actually. I just don't have tattoos.
Yeah, there you go. Man, Tom Giachero is one noisy making noise maker, man. Just like shuffling.
That's what I'm all about, dude. I'm about making noise, yeah, man. Like, no, I keep getting kicked out. My iPad keeps crashing.
Oh, okay. What do you got? An
Yeah.
iPad 1?
Yeah. Well, I stole it.
My 2-year-old has an iPad 1.
Sorry, I'm not as rich as you, Cliff. If you were a true Christian, you would pay it forward and buy me a new iPad.
Hey, I'm giving my son's iPad 1 for your Softtek amp.
That's what happens when you get paid $200 a week.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're eating off of $3 a day and you're banking the $200 a week, you can save up for the iPad 1.
I have an extra iPad 1.
Yeah?
Oh.
I'll
Nice.
trade you for your Softtek.
Nice. No deal, Howie. No deal.
Hey, this is worth at least $100.
No.
Why does everybody want a Sobtech, man? What? Are you in a metal
Well,
band?
it's actually no.
Softtek, you dial down the distortion, it's a great amp.
In Cliff's defense, it's a complete JCM 800 total ripoff, which the Russians did perfectly.
Yep.
And if you get it re-tubed and get it rebiased and put the EL34s in there, it sounds just like the JCM 800 that Slash recorded Appetite for Destruction with.
Yep. It is a great amp.
It'd be just like watching Rocky IV, but except at the end, the Russian wins.
Well, it's like, I don't have to have the big name brand stuff, man. It's like, that's why I just got this guitar. It's a Sebring.
Right.
Sebring guitars from 1990. It is a Les Paul Special Sebring model.
So
Man,
in a
I
sense,
just killed a bug.
So
Look at that.
in a sense, you can relate to TJ. In a sense, you can relate to TJ. You've got something that is sort of like the real thing, but not really, and you like it just as much, if not better.
No, I like it better because I paint it blue and I get really great stuff put in it, and it's just like a fantastic personalized guitar that's my own.
Did you put Britney Spears stickers on it?
No, this is gonna be glorious when it's done. You'll see photos of it online, and you'll be like, dude, that's an awesome guitar.
Well,
Josh Blackman will come over to me and he will say, "Can I use your guitar tonight, Cliff? Hey, Cliff, can I use your guitar tonight?" I'm thinking about doing a reunion show with that guy that borrowed your amp that time, and I want to use your guitar amp.
Probably got some Back to the Future 2 stickers you could put on that too.
No. I don't put stickers on my guitars anymore. I grew up.
Who played George McFly in Back to the Future 2? It was not Crispin Glover.
It was just a random guy.
Oh yeah, it wasn't Crispin Glover.
It wasn't Crispin Glover. That's after he pissed off David Letterman, so he wasn't in the movie anymore.
He wanted too much money to be George McFly again.
Really? So they had a different dad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they killed him.
If you look at it, they keep him out of focus the entire time.
Yeah.
Really?
And that's the same movie that Michael J. Fox played like 13 different characters in the entire movie.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, it's understandable that your offspring would look like that your great-grandson would look exactly like you, and nothing at all like maybe his mom or his dad, your son, or maybe even...
I think he actually played his girlfriend, I think, too.
Did he?
At one part.
He might have.
That girl that played his girlfriend in the first movie was good.
No, Marty played both his sister and his son and his daughter.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
You know the lady that played his sister in the first one is dead now. Hey, look, who's that? Nice face.
Oh, Scott's gone. I was going to actually suggest that we allow our guest this evening to settle the Back to the Future debate. And maybe he'll come back in. If he does, we're going to toss it to Scott, and he's going to decide it. Unbiased.
Before Scott comes in, I'm going to say it's easily 1-3-2.
Wow, TJ, you're at the bottom of the barrel there, bud. We got somebody that's basically saying that 2 is the worst back.
And that's why we had to go tell him. That's why we had to tell him to go mute himself.
He obliged. To his credit, he obliged.
Hey, mute yourself. Go mute yourself, man. Man, mute you all.
Brian Hardy, what's going
there
on?
There he is. There's Scott. Nope, Scott has to do his new thing here.
Hey, how's it going? I'm back.
Scott, put Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 in order of best to worst.
Oh, 1 is by far the best.
And then what?
2 and 3 are like kind of go together.
That is true.
Three's better than 2. 3's better than 2.
I mean, I think maybe I like 2 better than 3 because like it's hard to get through all 3 of those movies all at once. It gets long. It's enjoyable.
Well, they weren't made to watch all at once. They were made to watch years apart from each other.
But 1 is superior.
Yes.
Tom.
Hey, Brian Hardy, what's up?
Hold on,
what's up, guys?
Brian, 1 second. Tom.
Yes.
How many laps around that room are you going to do tonight?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You've just been circling the dang room for like the last half hour.
You listen. I just did a bunch of cocaine and I can't stop. Look, when you eat like 5 pounds of bacon in one day, you have to do at least a gram of coke to like outweigh that huge weight gain. Because like I'm grotesque. But what I will say right now is I'm repping this brewery right here.
Yes.
This Crime and Punishment that Scott was so gracious to find a fat size shirt for. And yeah, but anyway, I just move a lot. I don't know.
It looks great on you.
Hey, so your amp, $75.
No.
Tom,
Cliff,
stay in this
hangout.
Stay in this hangout for another hour, and you're gonna get more. Stay in the hangout.
Hey, before we go, I got some
get
stories, just so we don't forget.
Get more what? What am I gonna get more of?
No. Scott, go. Wait, 1 second. We'll come back to that.
All
Scott.
right. 2 quick Cliffy stories. So
Okay.
the first I remember when you guys were opening up for MXPX and Blenderhead. I remember when Billy Power showed up. He worked for Tooth and Nail at the time, and Cliff was like yelling at him down the hall to like sign us please to Tooth and Nail over and over again. It was like just really thrilling, like running down the hall like kind of after him. And I feel like guys from the bands were like trying to pull him away from like mobbing Bill Power to hassle him to sign to Tooth and Nail. So that's one memory that I had. Then another memory that I had, right when the high school rock LPs got delivered to my house, I want to say that maybe Cliff came by to pick them up, but in any case, there was a tour, and Cliff had just got this kitten named Buddy Holly, and so Cliff worked it out that I would cat sit for this cat because I had a cat at the time, and Cliff had no one to like cat sit. And he brings me this cat, and the cat's like a really young kitten, and he's like a little maybe sluggish. And Cliff tells me that he had just castrated the cat before he dropped it off at my house. I'll let you elaborate on the details, Cliff, but let's just say it didn't go to a vet and was no longer.
That's correct. Like country boys do it, they save money and they do it themselves.
maybe castrate's not the right word because he still had the one part but not the other two parts.
Correct. Castration. They don't.
Is there castration?
They don't cut your dong off in castration. They cut your balls off. That's correct. I cut his balls off myself because he kept pissing in my house. I mean, he kept spraying in my house. He wasn't peeing in my house. He was spraying in my house.
Hey, we were DIY, bud. We were
all the way.
No,
we were DIY before DIY was cool.
I know, but that's the kind of guy that I am. Brandon Ebel wasn't going to ever watch your cat. Alex Parker was never going to watch your cat.
No. But what's really funny when you think about it, when you think about it, it's really cool that there I am chasing down him to sign my band, and I'm just some dumb kid, and he didn't have time for me. And then we get signed to Tooth and Nail, and then he leaves, and we keep playing, and we keep selling records for Tooth and Nail. And that was kind of cool. That of course, to him, that was probably meant. In his mind, that was probably like the death of the cool of his label. The fact that Brandon signed Cliffy's band, But
well, I think Bill was there for a while, like after you were on the label, right?
Yeah,
he was there till like 2001 or 2002, because even Element got signed to Tooth and Nail.
Correct. He knew we were. No, I mean, he. I was definitely. I don't remember chasing him. I'm sure it would. I don't.
Maybe I'm dramatizing it there.
Well, no, you're probably right. It just didn't. I didn't realize how I was coming across. I would say.
You were in the zone. You wanted to be on Tooth and Nail, but everybody did back then.
I wanted to be on a record label, but hey, my dreams came true.
It came true twice because you got to be on Flying Tart too.
Yeah, but that wasn't a dream. We said yes to. We said okay. And then it was funny because we were supposed to be on REX, which was kind of a pain to us at the time. We didn't know that REX was about to go under. We didn't know that he was going to start his own record label and he was going to call it something so stupid. We didn't know any of that. So we kind of got roped into all that, but and then we didn't know it was going to be 2.5 years of being signed before we ever even got to put out a record. So
wait, didn't Sweet 16 come out in '96?
Yeah.
But when did you get? You got signed in '94?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we did that thing with Chris Colbert at the Strand as what was going to be the first record.
Oh, and you had to redo it.
Yeah.
Because it was awful.
Gotcha. Oh, right.
So how can one get a hold of the master tapes on that?
You can't. I burned them myself.
Nice.
Trust me, it's not anything to listen to. There's this one song that went. Remember that song?
Well, it's like all your songs then.
No, that was called Girly Song Number 5000, and it was a terrible song. You remember that one, right, Jen?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You feeling awkward? You're live.
Yeah, I know.
She looks
Mike
fantastic.
had to go
Jen looks
to the potty.
Awesome. Jen, you look great.
Thank you.
She doesn't do as much cocaine as you do.
Actually, she does more. That's why she looks
that's what you should have said. She's more of the meth. She must do more meth.
Correct.
Nice.
I don't know, man. It's all the same to me.
Hey, what was I supposed to get if I stayed on for another hour, Mike?
No, Mike's not here, but you can keep.
No, it was actually Tom that he would get more money from you.
Yes.
Oh no.
So Cliff, here's the lowdown. I paid $200 for the amp. I could sell it right now for like $600 on eBay. So
sell it for $600.
If you offer me $400, it's yours.
I will not offer you $400.
Well,
I have a wife that would castrate me if I did that.
Okay.
Probably in the same manner that I castrated that cat. And his name was not Buddy Holly.
Yeah, it was. Come on. What was his name?
I don't even remember now, but it wasn't.
It for sure was Buddy Holly. When you dropped him off, that was his name.
Jen, is there a llama in your kitchen?
Yes, Dakota.
You know what? You're probably right. I think his name was, because that was Brad's cat, and when Brad moved out of my house, moved out of my house, he left the cat behind. And he would have named him Buddy Holly.
What
so
the
that's
hell
fine.
is that?
Nice.
This is our golden doodle.
No, that's a farm animal.
Pretty much. She's about 85 pounds, so she's pretty.
Holy crap!
Hey, you should sell your amp on eBay because that's good money, man. I won't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Golden doodle. I mean, Dakota made that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, 6, 7 years ago, I would have done that, but I can't do that now.
Yeah. One. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll tell one more story. So, as part of my payment for doing Rocket to Ramonia, I actually didn't make really any money on that. I think you gave me like some extra CDs that I could sell, but you guys paid for me to go to Tomfest in 1996, which was awesome.
Yep.
And while I was at Tomfest, I was hanging out with Jeff Cloud, and that's when I kept telling him how much I love the Huntingtons. And then we decided that we were going to go in and do the split 7-inch release.
Nice.
So, just a memory that I had, like trying to do some research and
what's the split
try to piece it all together. The one on Velvet Blue Music and Burnt Toast Vinyl.
With Babysitter and You're Not Right.
Yeah, we sold like 500 of those pretty easily.
Yeah.
And there was Cliff.
It wasn't a split seven.
Correct me if I'm
split
wrong
label
about
7-inch.
this.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I thought that there was some pretty serious talk about us and Joy Electric covering each other's songs.
Correct. What we were going to do, we weren't going to do that. What we were going to do is we were going to do Joy Electric's greatest hits featuring the Huntingtons. And it was going to be, that's what it was going to be. Where we got to choose the best, our favorite Joy Electric songs, and we were going to record the music at Clay Creek, and then gonna send it over to him, and then he was gonna sing over it. So it would have been his first rock album, and it would have been like that. It would have been very cool.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yep, that would have been really awesome, but it just kind of didn't come together. I think it was Mike Pierce. It was Mike Pierce's idea, and we all thought it was cool. And we got so busy touring. And
it was a legit thing. Like we were in talks to do that, and it just it didn't come to pass.
But it would have been it would have been super cool to do.
So why can't it be revived then?
Because no one cares now.
Right.
Oh yeah. But let's make this happen.
Yeah.
Everyone that cares is currently in this hangout.
Well, I think Ronnie might care.
Back then, that would have got us a lot of new fans. It would have got him a ton more new fans.
Yeah.
It would have actually been very, very, very cool. And because we realized like his music was the closest thing to what we were doing of any band that was remotely in any of our circles. Because we were like, I was always surprised that no other Christian bands or bands in the Christian scene ever came along that did that Lookout Records kind of sound. We were the only ones that did it. The only one. No, everyone else just wanted to be MXPX. And so it was like a million bad MXPX bands, and then there was us. So
it could happen because Ronnie Martin now lives in Ohio. He doesn't live in California anymore, so he's working in a church in Ohio, so he's much closer, and it could happen.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be anywhere near us. We would send him the tapes, and he just puts them in his recording system, and he just adds all his vocals onto it, and puts it, and then it gets mixed and mastered. Now it'd be the same way as it was. It would be even easier now because of the ease of electronic music. Back then, it was very difficult to do that kind of thing.
Since he wouldn't answer your email today, you can get even closer and knock on his door. You know, so
He would answer my email today. What are you talking about?
He totally would talk to you, Cliffy. Come on.
Yeah.
You just
No,
show
but
up.
does he? Is he still with? Are him and Ronnie are they both? Are both of those guys still with Tooth and Nail?
No, they both left. Or I'm sorry, Tooth and Nail relieved them both of their duties.
Why?
Their contracts ran up, and the whole EMI thing. I think EMI was pushing out all the old bands because they just weren't marketable anymore.
Because they just weren't what?
They weren't marketable anymore.
Yeah, because I'm sure everything on Tooth and Nail is all really marketable now. Like that wonderful video we all got to watch last week. Was it last week or was it the week before?
It was 2 weeks ago because
Yeah,
you did
yeah.
it the other week.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah,
What a
I remember you telling me about that Joy Electric thing on the Marty tour because and I just never, I never thought anything about it after that. So I'm glad somebody brought that up to close that chapter of mystery.
Yeah, we got busy with stuff, and then we kind of, I kicked myself out of the band, and that kind of messed it all up. So, it was cool.
Well, now we have something to campaign for.
We gotta make this happen. I'm starting a Kickstarter just to make you mad.
Okay.
Does Ronnie try to make Joy Electric records anymore?
Yeah, he released one a year or 2 years ago. It was Kickstarter.
It was on Kickstarter.
Oh my!
He had his own recording equipment, his own studio in house. His records were free for him to record anytime he wanted to.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing about the Kickstarter thing. I'm laughing about Tom's 45th lap around the room, knocking crap over, making all kinds of noise.
Well, I knocked this empty bottle. This is now an empty bottle that I knocked over, so.
I see that.
Yeah,
And that's why he's making all that noise.
Yeah, so I muted myself after I did that, so.
After you did that, yes.
Hey, Tom, Jesus can relieve you of your need to drink that stuff. Just so you know.
Oh, I don't need to at all. I just want it a lot. There's a big difference between want and need, and Merriam-Webster can easily define that for you. The want and need is way different.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of, I want to go to bed, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
But you don't need to. You don't need to.
I need to.
Well, this is the longest show we've ever been on live. It's now almost 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Yes.
This last
hour. Scott, you can see that you really brought the record in, and we seem to have the most people here in the room with us than we've ever had. So you are a serious rock star. You are still current.
Oh, that's really cool. Hey, so when I take off, you can join in.
It helps to have someone relevant.
Yes. It does. We got that. And then now we have Keithy's here twice in a row, which has just been awesome.
So is Tom saying I'm not relevant? Is that what the thing is?
No, there was a lot of people here last week too, man. You're still relevant. We're the ones who are irrelevant. That's why we run the show. That's why we're not the guests. So, all right. Well, look, you guys have a great night. Josh, buy that guitar. You'll be glad you did.
I want to leave Scott with one thing. Here, wait, hang on. Scott, do you remember this guy? Do you remember this guy?
Nice. That's a little more angular. It's probably nicer than my drawing.
Well, see, did you invent this guy? Was that you?
No, I didn't put the punks in his head.
That was mine. That was me. That was my.
That's nice.
But the original version was just the spiky hair thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. I like it.
Oh yeah, like in high school, man. This punks guy was written on every single desk that I ever sat in.
Nice.
In Sharpie marker, and then sometimes carved in a little bit. And I got yelled at a lot for it, but they were like, "Why do you always do that? Why do you always draw that guy?"
That's
cool.
amazing.
That's a cool little guy. But I didn't totally rip it off because I put the punks in his hair.
Yeah, no, totally. 20-year-old me would be really excited about that.
You put your own spin on it.
I like it. I feel honored.
This was 16-year-old me. But yeah, that was. Yeah, it was all because we went to that Overcomes Firearms show, and my buddy was like, "There's." And we were just. I was like, "I'm gonna steal that guy's cartoon guy."
Though I should say that whole thing was a joke. I mean, because like the punk guy was always dead, so I never really, I guess, intended to be like the punk rock guy. It was like to me always a joke.
Yeah.
I know you don't believe it because there were a lot of punk shows, and we're on the Huntington's podcast talking about the good old days.
This ain't a podcast, man.
Or whatever it is. Hangout, YouTube.
This is TV, man. This is our
TV.
This is our talk show.
It's our mini series.
This is Hollywood. All right, you guys have a good night. Tom, give me that amp. You can give it to me for free anytime. It'll continue to get good use in the Huntingtons. And hey, what do we got here?
I want to end by saying I love the Huntingtons. I always have and I always will. So thanks a lot, guys, for being yourselves. It's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend. Take care of yourself. We'll talk again.
All right. Yes,
buddy.
for sure.
See you guys.
See ya. All right. So we've got no Cliff, no Josh. Those guys are not late owls. That's for
Oh, I thought we were ending. Are we not ending?
What we'll do is stop the live feed so that the YouTube audience says, okay, yep, I've had enough of these guys talking nonsense for 3 hours.
Can I end it on a joke?
What's that?
Can I end it on a joke?
Jeremy, I will let you end it on a joke.
Awesome. Nobody likes a reverse centaur. There it is. But it's switched. There we go. There we go.
I got a way better joke than that.
All right, so on your 50th lap around that room, tell us a joke.
Well, I'll tell you a G-rated joke because I don't know everyone's here. I had a really bad dream last night. It was horrible. I dreamt that I was a muffler. I woke up exhausted.
Okay, thank you for watching Absolute Awesome Show Episode 9. Everyone that's in the room, don't go anywhere, but YouTube, we'll see you later.